Artextric. Send stars to show your support. Botrix. Botrix has correctly joined the channel. Siri_bot. Siri_bot has joined Cerebolove. Stream Elements. Artextric is now live. Streaming art, draw with me anime art studies anime girls and anime WAIFUS 52 number how to draw number anime girls number ANIMEART.
Okay.
You've probably heard of grifting consultancy.
What's up, everyone? It's indeed.
Jonathan Majors was supposed to get paid $20 million to do the next Avengers movie, but now he's been fired.
You sure
he's
do
going
like
broke,
these
and to make it
evening
worse, his
streams, don't
character's
you?
being erased. Jonathan Majors joined Marvel on the Loki series on Disney Plus, playing the character of Kang the Conqueror, where he kept his casting secret for 8 months.
The reason is because Kang is one of the biggest villains in the comics, and for years Kevin Feige, the president of Marvel, said that Kang would eventually be the main villain to an Avengers movie. Then Jonathan Majors would land the role on the big screen, getting paid
So it's the end of an era.
Is this a new gen anime?
I seen Fallout.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this has to be
I say my
Hey guys, welcome.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, another one bites the dust. Yes, there is another gaming studio that Sweet Baby Inc. was involved with that has now officially gone the way of the dodo bird. But not
Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV.
Man, we're gonna be doing a lot of videos today. I'm gonna knock out all of these videos as best as I can without doing too much work. Okay. Okay. Now I'm gonna turn to you. Push this back. Oh, come on, dude. Come on. Okay, maybe not that one. Okay. I think everything's set up at this point. Push here and about here. Son of a bitch. Okay. Okay. I think I put everything where it needs to be. All right, let's get this party started. All right. All right, guys. So we're gonna be doing the reactions right now as I do artwork of Gojo here. We're doing reactions and all that great stuff. So I'm gonna push this back a little bit more. Up there. There we go. Let me see. All right. I think that's everything. Okay. And we'll have this coming in my ear. Okay. Yeah, I think that's everything. All right, so I'm gonna give some people a few minutes till we start, but I'll start drawing a little bit. I'll start around 8:15, and then we'll start the stream. I mean, like, we'll start the reactions. I'll get 8:15. Give people some time. Okay, nose has to be like. That, like, it has to be like. No, I don't like the nose. Okay. Oh, does it get it to everyone? Yeah, everybody. So I can hear them. Alright. So we like the nose. Like that. Mm-hmm. Alright. Now let me fix up the hair. The face looks kind of weird with the nose, but we'll clean it up as we go. Try to be that longish. The nose be like this. Okay. Clean it up. Like so. There we go. Okay. Let's put there for now. Ooh, the mouth looks ridiculous, looks stupid. Okay, let's fix the eyes. That's looking too weird, so let's clean it up. Okay. Oh, you're alive. Yeah, you're doing that. Okay, so might as well just start now. Alright. So, for those who don't know, we're going to be doing reactions, and I'm going to jump right into it. So, in this video, this is a video from Hero Hey. I'm going to make sure this is being heard.
Firms like GamerX, which I've covered quite a bit recently, and how they've had multiple executives stepping down over claims of sexual misconduct, or bigoted firms like SBI and their corpo journalists, who have desperately tried and failed to manipulate a narrative defending their bigotry.
Alright, pretty much. This is Hero Hey from YouTube, so he does anime stuff, usually anime related, and he says anti-gamer consulting resulted in disaster. Don't know if they're referring to Sweet Baby Inc. or some other company that might be similar, but we'll see what that's about in 2 seconds. So let's play this.
You've probably heard of grifting consultancy firms like GamerX, which I've covered quite a bit recently, and how they've had multiple executives stepping down over claims of sexual misconduct, or bigoted firms like SBI and their corpo journalists, who have desperately tried and failed to manipulate a narrative defending their bigotry and corruption. So let's have a bit of fun and take a look at how things are going for them. Oh no, what's this? A post by Sweet Baby Inc. talking about how a game that they apparently consulted for, Shadow Gambit the Cursed Crew, the devs and studio, the company behind the game, they're apparently shutting down. That game kind of looked interesting too. How unfortunate that they decided to waste a bunch of money by paying Sweet Baby Inc. for advice. Okay, well, how about that new Suicide Squad game? Suicide Squad game flops. Failed to meet Warner Brothers' expectations. Apparently, it's also one of those live service games. Well, let's check out the player count. Over on Steam, this live service game had 13,459 players, and right now it's got 209. Yeah, this stuff doesn't look very good. How about that GamerX firm? Oh, that's right, Niantic was apparently paying them for consulting, and Pokemon Go recently got a ton of backlash over the recent update. Hold on, Volition was also paying GamerX for consulting, and Volition was also shut down after a recent flop, the latest Saints Row, and that's not even counting the sexual misconduct at GamerX, or their apparent issues with the IRS. It's crazy how these consultancy firms virtue signal to people and act like they're the beacons of morality. And yet, in reality, they are full of bigotry, and it's all a grift, some of them even being ran by literal predators. However, the failures we went over briefly in this video are not fully the fault of these firms. Fact is, these gaming companies have been foolish enough to pay these deplorable firms for business advice. That, plus many other indicators, would display issues at these companies as well, sort of like a disgusting toxic hydra. Let me know what you think about this stuff in the comments. As always, thank you so much for your time. Hope you enjoyed this, and if you did, consider liking and or subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one.
So sadly, what this is ultimately falling into these consulting firms, whether it be Sweet Baby Inc. or whatever the case may be, is just ruining games in itself. So I think if you're an indie developer, I don't think getting a consulting firm is a good idea these days, especially ones who are really aggressive enough to want to tell you what to do. I don't know where they get this like drunken power of wanting to do this, but this is insane in itself. So yeah. All right, that was Hero A. Like, subscribe, share, follow, and comment. I hope you guys enjoy this, and I'll see you guys in the next one for this reaction. All right, that's one.
It was the
Welcome back to Clownfish TV.
Okay, so we're back with Clownfish. We're back with Clownfish TV, and it says Disney lost way more money on Ant-Man 3 than we thought. So we're gonna see what are the results on that, on how much they lost on Ant-Man. So let's see.
Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And it's time for another daily dose of dismal Disney. Geeky found...
For those who don't know what's going on, we're doing a reaction, so if you want to come over here, you can on YouTube and link in bio if you want to check it out. We're doing it. It'll be on YouTube and all that great stuff. We're also streaming the YouTube, Twitch, Trovo, whatever. You can go to any of these platforms and be part of the conversation if you want to see. If you don't, you can stay there if you like and all that great stuff.
This on Forbes is pretty interesting that Disney reportedly spent a lot more money on Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania than they originally reported.
Yeah, shocker.
Oh my God. So that means Disney lied about the budget, and if they lied about the budget of this movie, have they lied about the budget of other movies?
Well, they didn't lie so much as it was a matter of how they shuffled things around.
Hollywood accounting.
They didn't lie.
Hollywood
it wasn't
accounting.
Hollywood accounting. It was like, basically, okay, this came from Caroline Reed at Forbes, which we're going to talk about in a minute. But basically what they did was they each had like, when they have this, they have like the code names for things.
Yes.
And they might report them under a different company. And this one was called PIM3. So, I mean.
It's like Black Ops project.
I know. It's kind of like that. So would PIM3 probably be Ant-Man the Wasp: Quantumania?
Yeah.
And going by those budgets for that were filed, she was able to track down what the budget was for Quantumania. Now, Disney never said exactly what it was, but like different mainstream media outlets like Variety said they thought it was about 200 million. Turns out it was closer to 300 and I want to say 26 million.
I can believe that because a good chunk of it took place in the quantum realm, and that's not cheap.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm just saying, like...
But it wasn't... But remember, it was so bad that everybody complained about the CGI that led to the VFX artist, you know, unionizing over the whole ordeal, mostly because of this. So anyway... before we get into any further.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Yeah, woohoo if you do.
Woohoo!
Check out our Patreon, patreon.com/ or I guess just slash, I keep saying backslash, Clownfish TV. You know, it's funny, if they'd only thrown another $100 million at this movie, maybe they could have made it look good enough to...
Well, they didn't make enough money to begin with, so...
You just need it. That's Disney's MO, though. Just throw more money at it.
Well, that was, and now they can't do it.
Usually
so
that's how they work.
Crap,
That's how they usually think. If I throw more money at it, therefore it will solve the problem. That usually does not solve the problem. It's been proven that most times when you're trying to solve something, it's not really a money problem. It's more of like another issue, a symptom to something else that's happening under the scenes. But a lot of people don't like to put the effort, so they'll just throw money at it and hope for the best. Usually,
we gotta figure this out. But it was bad enough, and we knew they lost money on it. But it sounds like it's worse than it was. So the film only made like $476.1 million. And you have to remember, whatever the budget is, double it to at least break even.
Yes, JR. At least. I mean, we don't know.
By the way,
again,
what time is your normal stream time? I typically just happen to catch it. Restream.io.
I'm usually on around 3.
Trophy, congratulations.
3 p.m. Eastern
You've
Standard
received 100 messages today with Restream chat.
Most cases.
Marketing budgets are kind of, they bury that stuff too. But yeah, so God, I didn't realize it was that low. I mean, I should have, because we talked about it. Yeah, that's for a Marvel movie, and this is the movie that was supposed to be the lead into Secret Wars with Kang. That's not good.
And they said, okay, it's okay because, you know, you double your budget, 400 or 200 million be 400 million. So it probably made a little bit of money. No. Turns out it was closer to $326.6 million for the budget, according to Caroline Reed. So if you go out to the Forbes article,
all right,
we can look what she said. There you go.
All right, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania set to blow its budget as costs surge to nearly $330 million.
I gotta say, I do really like Caroline. Heart to you, Caroline.
She is not putting up with Disney's pixie dust any longer.
No, I feel her. Anyway, continue.
Yeah, well, she says this too. She says the majority of the movie was set in the quantum realm, which increased the post-production workload after filming wrapped in November of 2021. And they said, they created these psychedelic effects, and it sent the cost soaring far beyond the $194.7 million spent on pre-production and filming, as revealed last year.
When you're hearing the $200 million, it was pre-production. That was before all of the work done in the special effects. And then even then, the special effects are crap. But to be fair, it wasn't really the VFX artist's fault. We'll talk about that in a little while.
Yeah, so it's hard to tell from the film. Quantumania was made in the UK, and it had a magic touch on its finances. And we talked about that in relation to Star Wars, too. And I think she did an article on that. She's basically breaking down Disney's bullshit. And she was talking about how Star Wars movies didn't really make as much money as Disney tried to tell investors that they were. And she's like, this one didn't either because they had tax credits.
Yeah, and if you go down a little bit more, it'll tell you the actual amounts. This is talk about UK and stuff. So keep going down. Keep going here about the PIM. They'll talk about here. Well, first of all, the filings reveal that she found, and I'll explain where she got that in a minute. $326.6 million in costs, which is 63.3% higher than the estimates Variety gave, which would probably be pre-production. In the UK, they got go down a little more. I think the UK gave them a 50.
I think it's 25%. They said.
No, there's a total. Keep going the other way.
Okay.
They gave them a $50.6 million credit, reimbursement credit for filming in the UK. So that brings it to about $276 million.
Stream elements.
For the total cost.
Twitch
and then it only made $471 million. So what I had to have made at least $550 to $600 million just to break even, if you're not even counting marketing and things like that. Because the filing she found, which we're going to go back up in a second, it was for the end of 2022. For the end of December 2022, leading into 2023, and the movie was released in February of 2023.
But there might have been some expense in
And marketing and stuff that wasn't counted on that.
Right.
Oh,
So I mean, that's what it was to that point. But
Thank you, Ultra.
that was the end of December. But the film did release in February, like the middle of February. So there was probably expenses that were in there as well that aren't probably even counted on this. So if you go back up, they're talking about the PIM here. They said detective work was required to obtain the financial statements, as the company often have code names to stop them raising attention with fans when they file permits to shoot on location. A lot of Hollywood does this. It's not surprising to anyone.
Blue Harvest.
Yeah. The Disney subsidiary behind Quantumania is called Pym Productions 3. Because Pym Particles, Hank Pym, who wasn't Ant-Man and stuff. Its latest financial statements were logged in December to cover the year ending in December 31st, 2022, which was just over a month. It was about 6 weeks before the movie was released.
Wow. Yeah. They revealed the $326 million in costs, which are staggering 63% higher than the estimate Variety claimed. Oh my God. Again, I have to wonder.
How was it?
And I think I already know the answer to this one. Are they lying about other movies?
Well, yeah. Well, it's not that they're lying. It's not that they're lying. It's just that they're hiding them behind code names.
What I told you was true from a certain point of view.
Right.
And they estimate. It's not like Disney is going to come out and say we spent exactly this much money on this movie, right? You have to kind of discern what they spent. But I think that there's a lot of shuffling being done, and I think that a lot of these box office failures recently were probably much bigger failures than people were led to believe. I mean, they were already a disaster. Like, you can't hide the fact that you spent, $200 million, $300 million on a movie, whatever, and it only did $471 million, and it was supposed to be the movie that leads into Secret Wars. But
what are you talking about?
I think these movies are much bigger disasters than what they were.
Oh, I'm 100% thinking that's the case, and they're just hiding it behind a code name. So, but 200 million was true from a certain point of view if you count pre-production costs. And when they get their credits back, it still was like only like 20. It was 320. But they said it ended up being like 276.
276 after the
credit. I don't know about
after the credit. 274, 270, whatever it was after the credit.
First was 2012.
So it's only 74 million more than we.
Third was 2015, and fourth was 2020.
Oh, okay. Oh, is there any more installments coming?
We had said, but it failed. It failed miserably, and you can't blame it on Jonathan Majors, which is what they're trying to do now. I think because his thing happened after the movie was released. Or around the same time. Like, it was like not long after. I think when it all went down. So the movie didn't fail because of that.
No, the movie failed because it was dog shit.
And the CGI was terrible.
Well, they mention that. They talk about MODOK being a laughing stock of the internet.
Yeah, and
they said that MODOK looks like a character from Spy Kids 3D Game Over.
Yeah, and then they bring up Victoria Alonso getting gone.
Yeah.
Which I didn't even bring that in my article, but if you go back to my article, I actually found I have the information from the people that were working on the VFX, and we talked about it before. That they said about how bad the CGI was. Keep going down, and you can see here. This was a VFX artist who referred to himself as Jim, because I don't think he wanted people to know who he was. They said what happened basically was
AFK Journey
with Ant-Man in particular.
To support the
they kept wanting to work on stuff, and then the people above them would decide to change things without giving them the time they needed to change it. So hence, when the movie came out, a lot of things weren't finished. They said for Ant-Man, there were a lot of editorial changes happening towards the latter third and fourth of the project that were just too late. There's a point of no return, why certain things were changed, why certain notes were nitpicked longer than they should have been. That's on Marvel, but it definitely did cause a lot of tension, turmoil, and weight on everyone, and is what led to the effects looking terrible, and some of them not even finished.
Yeah,
in the film.
Well, I mean, we're seeing movies get patched now. I mean, freaking Cats.
Oh yeah,
and then they updated it because all the theaters are digital now, so they had a patch for Cats. So
wasn't that the butthole patch?
I think.
Oh, is it? I was supposed to pause it, but am I talking about what? No, not you. I'm talking about someone else on. Why is it not reading out your shit? Why is it acting stupid? Hold up. I just now came to realize it's not reading out stuff people are saying. It's there. Let me see real quick. Voice. There we go. I don't know why I did that.
It was the butthole patch.
Oh god. Stupid. You better not get me in trouble for that.
Butthole patch? I don't remember. But
yeah,
anyway,
YouTube channel, and I think
the effects were bad because they were not given the time to do it. And that this movie triggered a lot of things. It triggered Victoria Alonso, I think, getting gone. I think they said it was something else, but I think it was because of this. Because a lot of the VFX people said that she was the one making the environment toxic. Then by the summer of last year, the Marvel VFX people decided to unionize.
Yep.
And all that happened, I think, as a result of this, and about how Disney keeps, putting too much demand on the people they have, and then they don't get enough people to work for them, and then even hiring outside, people won't take the work because...
All right, bro, do your thing.
Working with Marvel has not been a pleasant experience, according to them. So it's just a big cluster. But at the end of the day, it failed, and they spent way more money on it. And I mean, Disney deserved to have changes made on the board and up high, and they didn't get to have to make them.
Yeah. So again, this is just speculation on my part, though. But I have to wonder if we had some other misfires of movies like The Little Mermaid maybe didn't make the money that didn't break even. They're like, oh, it barely broke even. They're not going to tell you if it didn't. They're going to be like, yeah, guys, we lost an extra $100 million on this movie. We just didn't say anything.
Well, I think sometimes they have said they've lost money. That's when they claimed they made $46 million. But I'm sure if you didn't have credits, you wouldn't have.
Yeah, so it's going to be really interesting. And I think, again, this does speak to why there's so many changes right now, because they can't just flush money down the toilet like they did before, especially when you have people like Nelson Peltz watching. You have stockholders, shareholders paying a much closer attention to Disney than they were before, both politically and, their fiducial responsibility to not burn money stupidly. And just think of how many more movies they could have made.
I said this thousands of times. Disney did better when they was not trying. When they was not actually trying to be diverse and inclusive, they was actually ultimately genuinely diverse and inclusive for most to feel. Like when Mulan, Hercules, Tarzan, I think they stopped being genuine right after, I think, what was that movie with the cows? I think that movie came a little after The Princess and the Frog. I forgot what that movie was, but it was one of those like Disney flops that no one went to go see. But they know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think the last time the last 3 movies, animated movies that Disney made that was like in theaters, that was supposed to be like get people and get butts in seats, was like, I think it was
Nightbird. Be a support hero today.
Treasure Planet
by using commands like
the Princess and the Frog
/ Cash App.
I forgot, Home on the Range. I think it's called Home on the Range. I think that was the movie called. It was like some type of like movie about cows or something, trying to get back home or something. I forgot what it's called. But it was just one of those movies that Disney made and just didn't make a profit. I don't think so, based on what I remember. It was just kind of like there, and no one talks about it at all. It was just one of those movies that just didn't make no impact at all.
In the amounts of money that they're spending on these,
I know, and that's why they're losing.
Yeah,
it's just insane, and
yeah.
it's a
I
lot
think
of it's
ever
just from
since
bad
then they haven't made any more. I think ever since then they haven't made any more like Disney animated 2D films ever again, since like what 03 or 04. I think that's the last time they started. They did animation, an animated movie. Not 3D animation, but an animated movie. I think they realized that the real money was in 3D animation at the time with Pixar, because the impact that Pixar had and the impact that Pixar can put on get people like in seats. That was literally it. But like something about that was just wow.
It didn't look. Did we need an Ant-Man 3? No. It didn't look that good. And then the
second one
CGI
was
was terrible.
boring. I
And
thought
then
the first one was all right, but the second one was boring.
people said this one too was very heavy on, you know, certain heavy-handed in certain ways, like you expect, you know, with the Marvels. And the Marvels is another huge disaster. The only one they had that did quasi-decent, well, what actually did perform and probably made money, was Guardians 3.
Yeah, but that was going to, because Guardians are kind of like in their own little like pocket universe, and that's James Gunn, and it's gonna be the same way with Deadpool and Wolverine. I think Deadpool and Wolverine is gonna make money, but that doesn't mean Captain America is gonna. Make money.
I don't think it's gonna. That and Thunderbolts. I think. Why? Why are you wasting this? And like I've heard rumors that basically with Blade, they're going back. Remember we talked before how it was gonna be about his daughter, or it's about women, and well now they're saying that they've heard it's stripped back down to being about Blade and vampires.
That's literally what Blade does. He hunts vampires.
Yes, that's what it's stripped down to now, which is what people flipping want. You know, here's an idea. If you give people what they want and stop trying to shoehorn in shit they don't want, you make money. Here's an idea. If you stop making these live action remakes of every damn animated show you've ever done that no one wants anymore and no one's going to see, you're going to save money.
Look at that. Imagine that. Yeah, I think Disney just got too big. They got too big for their britches.
They got a lot of people in there making poor, terrible decisions based on agenda reasons that have bit them in the ass epically.
Nobody wants to get bitten in the ass.
That's not the epic universe that, you know, that's two epic universes they have to worry about.
All right.
So,
are we going to wrap this up?
Yes.
All right, guys. Please subscribe. We'll talk later.
Bye.
All right. So that was the Clownfish TV. Disney lost way more money on Ant-Man 3 than we thought. So that's what that was. So I'd like to see you guys in the next one. Like, share, follow, comment, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Alright, so now we're on to the next video. Here it says, Embracer Group split up into 3 companies. I don't know what that is, so we'll see what that on Clownfish TV. So let's go.
This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about Embracer Group. Remember Embracer Group, the company that owns like every freaking video game publisher out there, and they own Lord of the Rings and a bunch of other random stuff. Well, they're splitting themselves up into 3 parts.
They're making Horcruxes.
They're making Horcruxes. This is after they went on a massive spending spree.
I was going to say, when they were buying all this stuff, we were all like, why? This isn't smart.
And then they went on a massive selling spree. And now they're going to split themselves into 3 publicly traded companies. This is because they're running out of money.
But usually you don't do that unless you want to have chunks that you can
sell.
Break off, yeah.
Yeah, like a piece of a Kit Kat bar.
Break up a piece of that Embracer.
That's weird.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. So they've got 3 groups, and yeah, I think
I
one of them.
I did not know. I am now hearing about this place. I've probably heard it before and never even gave it any mind. It just kind of sounds like the BlackRock. It sounds like the BlackRock Vanguard of like video games. If you think about it, like they own every publisher. That's crazy. Every publisher. God, you must not. Wow, that must be expensive.
They're gonna keep for sure. I think that's the Middle Earth and Friends company. Middle Earth and Can you imagine Middle Earth and Friends? And that's basically Middle Earth and then all the fantasy adjacent stuff. They're throwing it into one bucket, and they've got a couple different video game companies. We're gonna talk about this, and I think you're right. I think it's basically they're gonna kind of put them into little categories so we can sell a third of the company off or whatever.
If we need to. Yes.
If we need to. Yes. So before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. You'll get a woohoo if you do.
Woohoo!
Yeah, so this is coming from The Verge. Lots of people talking about the Lord of the Rings and Tomb Raider owner is forming 3 companies that separately specialize in AAA titles, indie and mobile gaming, and tabletop games.
Because think about it. Like, if you're just selling one game or whatever, or one company, like one of the things you bought, you're not going to get as much as if you have an entire group that has several, within it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's...
Right.
Happy Mother.
Basically, like, we're, so it's like a grab bag.
Well, plus if one F's up, then you can disavow it for the other 2, That's how it does. We're over here now.
Oh my God. So Swedish gaming conglomerate Embracer Group. I remember when people were all cheering on Embracer Group buying all these companies. I'm like, you don't think this is a problem? We've got one company buying all these.
Yeah, that's not good. Isn't that a monopoly? That doesn't make any sense.
Companies, and where's the money coming from? And they just like torched everything. They're going to split themselves into 3 distinct game and entertainment companies. Asmodee Group, Coffee Stain and Friends.
I'm sorry, it to me sounds.
Is that what they're called?
Stain. It just.
That's what they're called. Coffee Stain. I don't know about that one, bro. That one's a weird one.
Thinking that.
I'm like, but I hear something stain.
That's like an Adult Swim cartoon, Shit Stain and Friends.
I know it's what it is.
And Middle Earth Enterprises and Friends.
What is with them friends? Why is everybody friends? I guess because they're Embracer, like to hug it out. I don't know.
I think it's because Coffee Stain and Middle Earth are the flagships, and then the leftover crap is what they're
Friends.
And Dark Horse Comics is actually some of the leftover crap in Middle Earth and Friends. I'm like, where did they put Dark Horse? Oh, it's actually in Middle Earth and Friends, but it's so unimportant. Dark Horse is so unimportant they don't even mention it in this article.
However, Middle Earth and Friends is like the one I think they would keep if it came down to it. So they put it in the one that they probably are most interested in.
Horcruxes. These are going to be separate, publicly listed companies, according to Embracer, which says the move will allow each entity to better focus on their respective core strategics and offer more differentiated and distinct equity stories for existing and new shareholders. This is what the the Blackwells group wanted to do with Disney. They wanted to split Disney into 3 companies like this.
Basically, we're going to put the good ones in this one. We'll put one good one and a bunch of crap in this one, and one good one and a bunch of crap in this one, and y'all have to make it work.
Yeah, pretty much.
Or you're getting sold.
Yeah, so guess what? Just look at the one that has the weakest IP. That's the one that's going to get gone first. This move toward 3 independent companies reinforces Embracer's vision of backing entrepreneurs and creators with long-term mindsets, says Lars Wingenfors, co-founder and Embracer Group CEO, who should be fired, by the way. I mean, you went on a spending spree and then you couldn't pay the bill. Allowing them to continue to deliver unforgettable experiences for gamers and fans.
There's a lot of unforgettable experiences for gamers anymore, and it's not in a good way.
A lot of them are forgettable. Saints Row, that was a disaster. Borderlands 3, that was a disaster.
All those games were a disaster. Borderlands, Saints Row, all of them terrible. Woke as hell and terrible. I'm not even sure about Borderlands if it was woke or not, but I'm pretty sure it has some wokeism somewhere down the line. But I know for a fact that Saints Row was definitely woke. Like, it was so woke to the point that in the game, you are a college student trying to pay off your student loans, so you join a gang syndicate, or you start a gang syndicate to pay off your student loans. Like, what the hell? Like, listen, there's many ways to pay off your student loan, but crime ain't one of them. You just put yourself more in the hole in the long run, but, or yourself in a hole. But, logic, it is what it is. I remember back in the day, Saints Row was literally a parody of, like, it was literally, like, making fun of, like, the idea of, like, what do you call it? Like, gang life, of, like, GTA. And it kind of got semi-serious, and it got, like, semi-serious to, like, ridiculous. I see you tomorrow, Teach. I'm going to take a nap. Okay, have a great day. You come in and appreciate it. Why is it not reading out your guys' stuff? There must be a reason. I don't know.
And I think whatever Middle Earth movie they're going to do, I think that's going to probably be just about as good as the Amazon series. So good luck with that. Embracer, which is known for acquiring the rights to a dizzying number of franchises like Tomb Raider and Lord of the Rings, has been aggressively restructuring since losing out on a $2 billion partnership deal last year. Since then, the company has shut down several projects and studios, laid off employees globally, and sold Borderlands developer Gearbox to Take-Two for a fraction of the $1.3 billion it was valued at when they bought it. Basically, they went. I've never seen anything like this, short of Bob Iger buying up Fox or whatever. But they went and they bought like everything. If it wasn't nailed down, if it was a game developer, we bought it. They had like unlimited money. And then they're like, "Oh shit, we have to pay the bills."
Well, yeah, in the partnership deal, if I remember right, wasn't it they like backed out last minute?
Yeah.
Like yeah.
Yeah, that
and they were like, "Oh shit."
Yeah, they bought everything thinking they were going to get $2 billion. And then it just didn't work out for them. And then the stuff they bought, they ran it into the ground. And Tomb Raider right now, they're running it into the ground.
I know. I was like, I don't think Tomb Raider's a win. Neither is Lord of the Rings if you go by Amazon. So.
No. The 3 new companies will be broken down as follows: Middle-earth Enterprises and Friends.
Sorry, and
Good evening, everyone. Sorry for being
This sounds like Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends.
It's described as a creative powerhouse in AAA game development and publishing that will retain ownership to Dead Island, Killing Floor, Kingdom Come Deliverance, Tomb Raider, and the Lord of the Rings IPs, as well as Dark Horse, which was so unimportant they didn't even mention Dark Horse in the story. I had to go out to comics to find out that Dark Horse was moving to Middle Earth and Friends, because all they have is like Hellboy. That's basically it. Like they were going to make.
But they put it in the one that they're most likely to keep. So
there's that. So I have to wonder though. I mean, will they decide? Is the day going to come where they're like, guess what? Publishing comic books, it doesn't make a lot of sense for us. Let's just like have other people take a chance on Hellboy comics or whatever. Asmodee Group, a new arm dedicated to publishing and distributing tabletop games. The existing catalog includes Ticket to Ride. See, I didn't know they owned all these. Ticket to Ride, Seven Wonders, Azul, Catan.
They own these games? These little boarded games?
Asmodee is also developing licensed tabletop games based on Lord of the Rings, Marvel, Game of Thrones, and Star Wars. Embracer anticipates the spin-off and share listings will take place within 12 months. Could this be the company that Hasbro pawns D&D off onto?
Well, if they do, then it's probably going to be around for a while.
Yeah.
As long as they don't ruin it.
Well, they've already ruined it. Coffee Stain and Friends, described as a diverse gaming entity.
Oh, no.
Well, actually, these games are pretty good. I don't think it's diverse in the DEI sense. I think it's diverse in just their games are all over the damn place.
Because I own a tabletop gaming business where I resell many of these games.
Oh my god. This is wild, man. Oh my god. Isn't it bad business when there's one entity that has everything? Isn't that called monopoly? Isn't that a bad thing? Aren't you supposed to, like, once you become a monopoly, you have to like give away certain things so you don't become that monopoly, so there's room for other people to like have some form of like competition, because competition is healthy for like companies. So like when you're the only kid on the block, that's not a good thing. It's a good thing for you, but it's not a good thing.
Yeah. It's why they broke it up into
three companies. Yeah, that's weird. Like, I'm now hearing about this company, or if I did hear about this company, I just never gave it any attention now.
That'd be shit stain.
That's
crazy.
You have,
Sweet
first
baby
you have the
shit
coffee,
stain.
and then you have the
Sweet baby shits. Pea green colored shits. It's going to focus on indie, mid-market, free-to-play games. They have Deep Rock Galactic, Goat Simulator, Satisfactory, Wreckfest, Teardown, and Valheim. The share listings are projected to become available in 2025.
Yeah,
this move has been made with the intention to unleash the full potential of each team and provide them with their own leadership and strategic direction.
Well, in one way, it's kind of smart, though, because they are lumping them together by, like, one's indie type games, one's tabletop games, one's, the big one, AAA type stuff. And they would require different leadership and different things. Like, because of what they are, it's not a one-size-fits-all scenario for teams. So in a way, it makes sense, because you want leadership. You'd probably pick leadership that specializes.
To start the process, we're going to replace the...
That's crazy.
Does well
in those things, that their expertise are in those things, so that they would have the best chance possible. And if it doesn't work, you just sell it off as a big thing.
This is why holdings companies are bad.
I love the...
If one goes woke or toxic, then it ruins the whole bunch they're linked to.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. This is why all Disney products are crap, because once they're like, it's not even just Disney, like, not per se like just Disney, like the animation, the Pixars and all that stuff. It's like the Discovery channels, the cooking channel, I think the E channel, like anything that is connected to Disney under their rule will follow and under that full step. It's not like some of them have to be woke or some of them will be woke. all of them will be woke under that umbrella. So that's very scary and annoying at the same time. That's why this is problematic.
Comments though, they said rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic
Pretty
over
much.
Embracer. Pretty
Yeah.
much. It'd be nice to see the developers of all the games now under Coffee Stain and Friends band together, buy it out with the money Embracer paid them, and have a legit indie publishing company. I think what happens is, again,
Indie
these
publishing company?
corporations, they always Icarus themselves. They get too big, it's too unwieldy, and you're better off just doing one or two things really, really well. And building a sustainable business. But they just, all these companies want to buy other businesses, and then they don't know what to do with them, and then they run them into the ground.
I like this one. Try not to think about how large.
No, I don't think it's that they don't know what to do with them. It's because of the whole BlackRock very Fink thing. It's just like they want that investment money, right? They want that investment money because they know it benefits them in a strange long run financially, but it doesn't benefit them when having a sustainable audience, because 9 times out of 10, if they're picking up a IP that is like that people are familiarized with in the sphere of like what that IP is, whether it's your Lord of the Rings, your Star Wars, your Batmans, your Supermans, your Spider-Mans, your X-Men, you know what I'm saying? When people know what these things are, they become vehicles for these crazy activists to come in and then say insane things, because remember, they want to get that investment money. They want that social credit score to be high up. So when that social credit score is high up, that's when they get more money and investments. I don't think most of these companies don't know what to do. I think they do know what to do, but because of that literal stopping point, that doorway, that obstacle, that what ruins all these movies, all these products, anything you can probably think of. It's because of that very reason that causes all this trouble.
JR. Exactly. This is Consumer Markets 101.
Yeah.
The power of the consumer keeps companies in line, but if the consumer because the investors, then they don't care about the peons like us. We're not the target.
Yeah. That is wild, though. It's all about that shareholder, the investors. That's all that matters, and I think that's a problem. That needs to be changed, and this social credit score thing needs to go too. I don't like how they took that China idea and just ran with it. That, like us Westerners, that's kind of weird. Like it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. An
abject failure of a CEO would be penniless in a just world. Will never struggle a single day in his life.
That's true.
Yes, that's
if
true.
they fire him, he's probably got a multi-million-dollar golden parachute. Like, these people fuck these companies up beyond belief. They cost people their jobs, and they basically get to escape with a parachute, and they're set for life.
This one indie conglomerate.
Yeah,
games.
pretty much.
That reminds me of, you'd call it Hot Topic, mass-produced individuality.
Yes. I always joked about Hot Topic being mass-produced. I'm like, yeah.
No, I do like Hot Topic. I buy clothes and stuff from my daughter buys stuff from Hot Topic. But yes, it is mass-produced individuality.
RIP to Deus Ex. Wait, they own that series. Yeah. Square Enix sold Tomb Raider, Deus Ex to Crystal Dynamics, which is now going to make sure that Tomb Raider is not about raiding tombs, because that's problematic for indigenous people, because Lara Croft is just stealing their shit.
Meanwhile, Lars is stealing all your shit too, but you know.
Yeah, Lars is stealing all your shit. Embrace the innovation of acquiring game development companies, shuttering a whole bunch of them, and then splitting them up again. Yeah, these indie companies, like, why would you sell yourself to Embracer Group? You are better off
being alone,
in my opinion, just doing your thing and
yes,
selling your game through Steam.
That's what I've been saying. Stop, and this has been happening in the music industry too. A lot of people realizing getting a label is not worth it. Because remember, when you get signed to a label, you have to share your money and your wealth with the company. Almost, it's never like a 50-50. It's like a 30-60, like it's like a 30-70 split. Most cases with you and the company. And then if you don't read the contract, you end up paying more companies at once that's getting a share of your food, of your stuff. This is why I think it was Joe Button. He was yelling at what's his name? What's his name? Something got Little Yachty, I think that was his name, and he was asking him, "Do you understand what your contract contains?" Because if you don't understand your contract, you'll be surprised how much money they're stealing from under you. A lot of money you should be getting for the work that you put in, but a lot of these young boys don't know what they're doing because either they didn't get a lawyer or they didn't bother to afford, or they couldn't afford one at the time, but they somehow got this company to buy them out and let them sign the contract. And then what's happening is usually these kids are coming from disenfranchised places. So when a kid because when they give you like a something 100,000 something bonus, or a case may be, for just signing up with them, the kid will see like, and they're usually between the ages of like, I would say like 17 to like 25, right? And then when they see like 200,000, 300,000 sign up bonus, instantly they just sign because they see the 300,000 or 500,000, depending on what company they're signed up with, without reading the contract, right? And then when they get the money, what they don't understand is they have to give back the company their ROI. That means their return on investment. So if they're not in the studio and they're not making double what they made before or what they're making, the studio, they'll go into debt fast and they'll lose everything. And then they start owing a bunch of companies. I think a bunch of rappers own a bunch of companies to a lot of different.
Always go indie.
Yeah, always go indie. You'll be surprised how much you can go bet. It'll be a struggle, but it'll be worth the struggle in the long run, because if you go indie, you don't have nothing breathing down your back in the long run. It's best to struggle now, be an indie artist, and then benefit in the long run, where you can have the accolades of a loyal fan base. You don't have to worry about a bunch of fees and stuff. You have to owe a bunch of people, depending on what team you build. It's on you, right? It's not once you sign, you have to pay this guy and this producer and this manager and this person and that person that you don't even know. Because remember, they give you a team 9 times out of 10, and they even give you a man. This is how they get these young kids. Not only put the money on right there on the contract where you can see it, but they also tell you what they're gonna give you, like several cars and mansions and all this stuff. That's what blinds you most cases for these young kids. Whether it's a singer, a rapper, or some type of thing, they'll usually give you a sign-on bonus for like 300 plus or more, and then give you a mansion somewhere far in the Hollywood Hills, depending on where you're located, and they give you a car with some benefits and X, Y, and Z. So you're thinking you're made at the very beginning, but really you're just an employee at this point. Because if you're not pulling like, I don't know, like Beyonce or Jay-Z or what you can think of, like Kanye West, like any type of superstar type money and recognition, especially when you're coming out of the wazoo fresh with a debut, and you're not like really bringing it to the point that you're hitting bangers every time, you're going to end up going under. This is why a lot of rappers, SoundCloud rappers, you see them now and they're hot for 1 second, for 1 week, 1 month, or even a year, and you don't hear nothing about them ever again. Look what happened to what's his name? Designer. That nonsense he was doing back in, what was it, 2013? It was 2013, right? 17. I'll say 16. The panda thing. You know, panda, that thing that we doing, like, that stupidness when we do understand what he's saying. You don't hear about him anymore. When's the last time he made a banger? It was in 2016. And then when he did his, I think, was it Class of 2016 freestyle thing with Lil Dicky or whatever his name is, he was not making, he didn't really sing anything. He was singing something about Timmy Turner, and that's it. The only person on the team was saying,
LMAO.
Was the only person who was like a legit rapper who actually put in the work in that fresh class of class something, I forget what it's called, the ciphers, was Lil Dicky. So you'd be surprised how much these people, like, once you have some form of name, they'll try to take it from you real fast because they think you're naive and stupid. This is why you should always go with indie, or if you're going to sign up with a label, get a lawyer. Get a lawyer. Because remember, if you don't get a good lawyer, especially one who has a good track record, you're going to have a hard time. And if the lawyer is an idiot or greedy, that's on you. So you better get a lawyer. Get a lawyer. It is the smartest thing you do. It'll be expensive, but it'll be the smartest thing you probably invest before you start signing up with any company, because some companies are better than others, and you'd be surprised. Like, you might hear a name that is really synonymous with a certain rapper or artist or company or whatever, and they're usually and you hear it all the time, so you think they're good, but 9 times out of 10 it could be true that they're not. They're just popular because they have enough money, shares, marketing, blah blah blah. You know what I'm saying? It's you don't know, so do your research. Don't just sign up with anyone just because. You know, you'll end up being a slave.
Get it out there. I don't know. I think they were like, well, we want to make bigger, better games, so let's, you know.
But what a shit show reminds me of a great time when THQ was broken into pieces and sold for scraps. Reply, ironically, the THQ trademark is currently owned by Embracer.
Oh my god, I forgot about that. Yeah, Koch Media and Nordic Games, 2 biggest chunks of THQ. And the latter merged with the former, and they rebranded themselves.
But the one thing I'll say to anyone, if you're doing gaming, YouTube, I don't know, TikTok, rapping, it doesn't matter what it is. I suggest always go indie. Just go indie. You'll be more proud of yourself. It's going to be hard, but it'll show how much you really want this compared to someone who's just got a break, got a big break. You know what I'm saying? But remember, if you're going to take that said big break, gig / sign up, whatever, get a lawyer.
Embracer. So basically, Embracer is the love child, chimera zombie form of THQ, right?
Which is fitting.
Which is fitting. I just tend to say blank and friends. Endearing joke, just, oh my god, this is so ridiculous. This is like,
I do agree. I think this is on one hand, I do think it's smarter to have people, you know, have their own separate leadership because they would have different challenges. But I honestly think it's a case of it's a hell of a lot easier to sell them off for a lot of money if you have them grouped together already with the same type of thing, so that someone who wants to buy that type of thing can just buy them all at once and give you a lot more money.
And that's what this whole thing is about.
I think so.
Yeah, that's what this whole thing is about. Is they're gonna basically just sell.
If it doesn't work, they can hurry up and flip it. Yeah.
Yep. So let's wrap this up.
Yep.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.
All right. So that was Clownfish with the whole Embracer Group thing, splitting up the companies in 3 and stuff. So that was interesting. It's not something that I would. It doesn't really fall in my realms of too much of expertise based on what I know. But it was interesting nonetheless to learn about. I did not know about this till today. So, like, that's kind of cool. All right. So, like, subscribe, share, follow, and comment, and I'll see you guys in the next one. All right. Now we have another Clownfish TV. We have a lot of videos. We're gonna knock all these out fast as possible before 11 or at least before 10. So I'm gonna try my best not to go too long on a rant or whatever. Some of them are trailers, some of them are videos, some of them are just really simple. And don't worry, Bri, we got 1, 2, 3, 4 anime recommendations. We have 4, so it'll make up for all the woke stuff that we complain about. At least makes up for it. So like, and don't worry, all the videos that I've done, they are actually ready to go. They're all titled, they're all thumbnailed, they're all the script and everything tagged, whatever. So they'll be coming out, I think, starting tomorrow. So I'll be posting about 2 or 3 videos a day for all the stuff. We're gonna start in order based on the importance of when it came out and stuff like that. So like the trailers will be coming out first because they're trailers. No one's gonna like talk about that. But the ones that have more of a discussion will coming out after the trailers. So like the trailer stuff, like whether it's a game trailer, a movie trailer, an anime trailer, whatever it is, those will come out first. And then after that, those reactions will come out first. And then it'll be the Endymions, the clownfishes, the thinking criticals, and then or neurotics or whatever the hell, and then the It's a Gundams and Klyals, and then all the anime recommendations will be coming out last. The reason why is because no matter I realize that it's best to make the anime recommendations come out last, is because they're recommendations, right? So like it doesn't matter if it came out a couple of years ago to like a few months ago, because recommendations are just recommendations. So it's like if you went up to someone who never watched anime before, right? And you said, you know, I'm thinking of getting anime, what should I watch? 9 times out of 10, most people are going to pick the most typical stuff: the One Piece, the Dragon Ball, the Yu Yu Hakusho's, the Hunter x Hunters. It's very rare they ever just give you the new stuff if it's just genuinely popular and liked. But 9 times out of 10, people are going to shore you up with that stuff that came before and was proven to work. So like the JoJo's, the Dragon Balls, so like it makes more sense for the anime recommendations to come out last, unlike the news stuff, because news come in and out very fast, and most of the new stuff are going to be relatively old, because remember, these people post videos almost every single day. So whatever came out just yesterday is old news in the next 3 days. So I need to post 3 times a day based on that. And because of this, I'm doubling down a lot on the reactions, because it will shoot us fast as possible to that milestone that we need to hit, so we can start making money on this YouTube channel. And then after that happens, I'll still be doing reactions, but my main focus will be just YouTube. Well, I'll be still doing reactions on the same type of stuff, but my main focus from that point on, once we hit that milestone, is probably less streaming and more tutorials, more YouTube content, for the more free YouTube content of tutorials for my art fans, because they've been waiting patiently for the art stuff to come out. So they've been asking how to draw a hand, how to draw a head, how to draw an eye, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna redo some old stuff that I did in the past. I'm finally gonna get around doing the video on the 8 fundamentals, because I know everyone keeps asking me, what is the 8 fundamentals? And I will do a constructive video on that, edited and everything. So this is why I'm doing this, because it makes more sense, and reactions are just easy to produce. I don't even have to edit anything, because people like this rawness in itself, and YouTube likes it. So it is what it is. And I try to watch what I say, so I don't have to edit anything anyway. So it is what it is. So that said, we here with Clownfish TV. Comic books can be fixed very easily. It can actually. Comic books, the stories, everything, heroes, could be actually fixed. It's just like that DEI, that pesky DEI is just always in the way. So it kind of ruins everything, right? It just, if you take out those DEI rules and policies, we can get back on track on virtually every superhero, fictitious character, or whatever case may be, whether it be like an old book to a TV show, movie, and get them back on their original, like, continuity and not retcon stuff. I'm looking at you, Warhammer.
Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am not here with Geeky Sparkles in this video, but we're going to talk about J. Scott Campbell, Spider-Man, Mary Jane, and things sort of pivoting back to normal, right? A couple of years ago,
I know people are saying things are going back to normal. I don't think what's happening is a revert back to what things was or going to be. I think what's happening is that companies are just regrouping really hard on how to sell you DEI nonsense without you realizing it. But it's very hard, because there's always a new person who's coming out of the woodworks telling you about X, Y, and Z and why this is not genuine and stuff, because there's always a new person, new YouTube channel, new YouTube content creator who's out here saying, nope, they're not genuine, it's woke, and I'll explain to you how it's woke and X, Y, and Z, and how they're in cahoots with BlackRock, Vanguard of Larry Fink. So like it's hard for them just to do that. So that what's happening is they're regressing to the old ways that they know works, but because it's not going the way they want, they'll give you what you want for now. But till they figure out somehow to bait you into the next movie, the next show, the next franchise, the next IP, this will never, I don't think this will truly will die. It will just be more monitored by people who are alive to this now. This is like that conversation we had yesterday. I don't know a thing about Warhammer, and I don't know a thing about the other thing we was talking about from yesterday that was with Warhammer. But I understand when your franchise has been tampered with, and you can obviously see it for obvious reasons, it is a frustrating feeling. It doesn't matter if you even subscribe to the fandom of whatever we're talking about. It's the same typical scenario. Popular IP, wokeism, sniffs out popular IP, and then DEIs it up the wazoo, whether it's a smidge or a lot. And when it starts a smidge, it eventually progresses into like a disease, or it instantly blown out being woke. It's either of those two things. It either gets blown out to be woke off the wazoo as a reboot, or it comes off as a reboot as seem like it's the original, and it slowly but progressively brings in the nonsense in. It infiltrates itself in a way that it looks like it Trojan horse itself. This is why I said the other day, the whole conversation about the whole we call it the Warhammer situation about women being in Warhammer, the why the women are in Warhammer, where it keeps about females. It's not about females. It's a gaslighting smokescreen to let in something much more sinister than that. They just use the woman as the simple gaslighting smokescreen to allow in the nonsense that they truly want to bring in. The woman is just a Trojan horse. What's ever inside that Trojan horse is not about women. It's about something much more. You know what I'm talking about.
We did a video talking about how art fixers were coming for J. Scott Campbell, a very famous comic book artist who did a very famous cover. I believe
What's an art fixer?
I want to say Amazing Spider-Man 601 was the issue where Mary Jane was on the couch and wearing jeans, drinking coffee, looking out the window at Peter, and we had some of the usual type of people you would expect on Twitter deciding to take a whack at his very famous cover. And somehow this thing blew up into a big deal. Business Insider actually did a whole article about it talking about art fixing, like seriously. And they actually quoted us in that, weirdly enough. But yeah, so a couple of years after that blows up, we've got Ultimate Spider-Man, and it's selling very, very well. It actually is reverting Peter and Mary Jane back to their married status. Now they've got kids. The book is selling incredibly well. Now, I can't vouch for the continued quality of it. Some people said that it's starting to come off the rails already, just a couple of issues in. But it is selling very well. And it's very
see
clear
what I'm
that this is
saying?
what
See what I'm saying? It comes in as what you want it to be, and it becomes something else. It's the mystique. It's the mystique infiltration of your favorite franchise. Whether it's like your favorite anime or your favorite cartoon or whatever case may be, it infiltrates itself as looking like what you think it is, and then it reveals itself after the fact when you already did the dirty with it. That's I would refer to the mystique infiltration, the bait and switch type situation that will happen.
Comic book fans want. This is where Peter Parker and Mary Jane would have been had their marriage not been undone. And now looks like J. Scott Campbell is getting another chance at doing that cover. This time with them being married. She's happy, and she's got her kids.
Guys, the NFL's different. QBs and centers, they're closer. That's why Old Spice, Total...
And the whole family is just chilling. And it's pretty cool. I think it's kind of fun. The daughter is actually in the pose that MJ was in, the one that wasn't realistic supposedly. But I think it's showing the swing back to what works in comics. And I don't know if it's just because they're desperate. I mean, we've heard
it's desperation. It's desperation. It's not because they just came to epiphany and say, you know what, guys, this is stupid. No. These people don't see the error of their ways. They don't know what the error of the way is. The only thing they know is one thing. Americans are a lot like Luffy, but backwards. We kind of run in and charge in and never come back. We just try to justify running in. If we run in and lose the fight, we'll justify in every way how we lost the fight. Not that maybe it was not smart to run in the first place. Maybe we should have just, regrouped, think that out, and not do that again. No. Westerners don't do that. That's not the Western way. We need to do it. We need to run at it full force and hope for the best. And if things went well, we was just destined. That was destiny. And everything went wrong, it's everyone's fault and Destiny's fault, not our fault. Nah, no.
People at Disney, Bob Iger in particular, saying that they're going to try to pivot with Marvel, try to figure out what works because they've had a lot of misfires. And weirdly enough, the biggest hit that they've had lately, I believe, is X-Men 97, which got a ton of views, is getting a ton of buzz. There are some people that don't like it. And if you don't like it, that's fine. I actually gave it a very good review because from where I'm sitting, this is the truest version of the X-Men that we've had in like 10 to 15 years. And it's a cartoon show. It's not the Marvel comics. It's not the mainline comics. I don't think Gail Simone's X-Men reboot is going to be anywhere near what X-Men 97 is because, it's based partially off of the Chris Claremont run. And, that's like the most beloved era of X-Men. So let's talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, no woohoos in this video. She's not here, guys. Sorry, she's going to be in another Disney video today, though. But yeah, let's talk about this because he's getting a lot of praise. And I remember J. Scott Campbell was getting attacked on Twitter almost every other month. It seemed like. I mean, not only over a years old Spider-Man cover, very famous cover, by the way. But he was attacked over the way that he drew Riri Williams. He's been attacked over other female characters. And a lot of times if the Twitter cancel culture mob wanted to single out a problematic comic book artist, they would come after people like J. Scott Campbell because he's known for the way he draws the ladies.
Well, that's going to be coming to an end very soon because if what I think it was Clownfish that talked about it. The day that Elon Musk actually chooses to make, or the day will come when everyone starts force you to pay to just tweet, that will come to an end really fast. There will be no bots that could be able to do that because a bot needs to at least put in some point of like financial information to do what they can do. And if they can't, then those bots are useless. They're just there. You know what I'm saying? So like I understand that it's two things that's happening with that. One, it prevents the bot problem pretty much at that point. But two, it stops insane people for being insane and thinking then doing it for free. It costs them just as much as you do. I know it's not the best solution for most, but really when you think about it, you can actually say what you please. They just gotta cost you.
Right? And that's a problem. We can't do that. But here's Mary Jane in her shorty shorts. And she's well endowed. And yeah, Peter's a very happy man. He's a very happy man. He said, the first reveal of my brand new Ultimate Spider-Man #4 reimagines Amazing Spider-Man 601. Yeah, it was 601. Featuring a much happier MJ now surrounded by her family. This is where Amazing Spider-Man should be.
Where it should have been a long time ago.
This Ultimate Spider-Man #4 cover and 2 others go on sale exclusively at jscottcampbell.com this Saturday morning, March 30th. So yeah, he's got his own covers. This is actually pretty cool. It's absolutely gorgeous. Thank you. Big fan of your work. Covers one for the ages, dude. Yeah. Is he selling it only through his site? This is going to sell like crazy. on secondary market then. Yeah, so he does do a bunch of exclusive covers. I just think it's kind of funny because this is going to sell like hotcakes. It's going to sell like hotcakes. His stuff still sells incredibly well. You know, yeah, if they were smart, they would get him back on the mainline books.
Yeah,
but
but they're not
about
smart,
kind of
so it
pivot
doesn't
back
matter.
to normalcy, I guess. I don't know. It just feels like the pendulum is swinging.
I don't think it's
best-selling
swinging.
comic
I
book of
think it's just
January
receding
was
for now.
Ultimate Spider-Man.
They're just retreating.
Number one, wasn't it? Yeah,
It's
it
a
was number
retreating
one. January
situation.
2024. These are unit and dollar sales rankings based on sales tracked to point of sale by the Comic Hub system. Again, we don't know how comic books are actually selling in this day and age, but we have to guess. But yeah, Ultimate Spider-Man. Fall of the House of X, number one. They're getting ready for the reboot, and I think people are secretly hoping that X-Men's going to be good again. Amazing Spider-Man, Transformers, Rise of the Powers of X, number one. Cobra Commander. Like, if you told me that Transformers and Cobra Commander or G.I. Joe, that they were going to be in the top 10,
I would
like,
never believe you.
consistently, I would have called you crazy. But again, it's just like comic book fans are not hard to please. They really aren't. It's actually very, very easy to make them happy. You just, and I said this before, just give them classic characters behaving like themselves in well-written and well-drawn stories. You don't muddy up the timeline too much. You don't ask them to buy a bunch of crossover books. You know, just give them a solid story. Give them characters that they can fall in love with and root for again. Give them heroes. And yeah, you know, give them a little fan service.
No, heroes are dead. That don't exist. Heroes don't exist. The only thing that exists is some type of... I'm not getting that.
That's fine. You're allowed to do that. But yeah, I think things are definitely starting to pivot. Look at this. This is ICV2. Hot Properties, X-Men 97, Ghostbusters, Avatar, The Last Airbender, Dune.
Downy makes clothes softer, fresher, and better. We breathe life into your laundry.
It ain't my dad's razor, Dad. This green bar releases trapped hairs from my face for the ultimate Gillette shave.
Yeah, X-Men 97 is actually making more fans of the X-Men than Marvel has done themselves with the comic books. And it's going to be really interesting to see what happens when they reboot that. Are they going to go back to basics, go back to what works? Because this is working. I know your boy Zach did a video talking about...
I'm telling you, I understand where Neon's coming from, but like then again, I think, in my opinion, this is not an attack on him. If he ever sees this video, which I really doubt he will ever watch this. But if he does see this, I think he's being a little too optimistic. You can't put one behind these people at all. These are the type of people who die on a hill before they admit they're wrong.
X-Men and how they have a Marvel video on TikTok now explaining the X-Men, classic 90s X-Men. And I guess it's getting a lot of views because a lot of people don't remember the X-Men being the biggest comic book on the planet. It was, well, maybe not on the planet, but in the US, in North America, it was huge. It was huge. It was very, very big. Manga's bigger. Yeah, I know. But like Jim Lee's X-Men #1 is still, I believe, the highest selling American comic book of all time. And I think it was like 8 or 10 million copies or some crazy number like that. It was a massive, massive deal. And to just see how the X-Men and how Spider-Man have been treated by Marvel over the last 10, 15 years.
Yep.
It's just, it's sad. So much untapped potential. Yeah, I mean, Batman screwed up, but they haven't screwed up as badly as Marvel has with X-Men. Spider-Man, hopefully they can course correct. But yeah, I thought this was really interesting, guys. So haters can suck it. Again, there's an entire article out here just 2 or 3 years ago about him being problematic and his art needing fixed. I think he took that down. But this person went and redrew his art, and then he redrew the redraw, and then the person got mad because how dare they be called out for calling him out, you know? That is very much the internet. That is very much how it works. So it was an Adventure Time, Stan. Non-binary Finn Mertens I made an attempt at fixing this because it was so bad, LOL. It's not perfect, but it's better than it was, and that's all that matters, LOL. Just don't look too closely at it. It's fine. And might as well tag fixing bad comic art since their blog is mainly what inspired me to do this. Yeah, so he just like completely ripped them to shreds. I'm sure this person's probably not even on Twitter anymore. Yeah, somehow we got quoted because we did a video on it. I thought that was kind of interesting. And I'll tell you the truth, this is one of the only times that YouTube has had a problem with our thumbnail. I had to put a crayon over her cleavage because YouTube would not let me put that in the thumbnail. And I'm going to try putting the other image in the thumbnail and see what happens, but I have a feeling that I'm going to run into the same issue because YouTube is really weird about that. And they have AI looking at the art. It's not even humans anymore. It's just AI. But there we go, guys. J. Scott Campbell. Having his revenge. This is pretty cool. I'm gonna wrap it up. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
I would do the same thing. I would redraw the thing you did. He's a G. The G status. That's some serious G status. Okay, the Clip Studio. This was Clownfish TV, but the comic books can be fixed very easily. So with that said, like, subscribe, share, follow, and comment. I hope you guys enjoyed this and all that great stuff. And I'll see you guys next one. Okay, say it says games. It says games workshop. Oh, this one's from Endymion. Say more. Okay, I think that's all the Clownfish. So Clownfish is done. So Endymion's here. Game Workshop blames Warhammer 4K backlash on Henry Cavill's woke Amazon demands pro-female agenda. Okay. This is how you add a marker? Okay. Something went wrong. Try with a quick action later. Don't work. Anyway, so with that said, this is Endymion, and we're going to see how this is, and all that great stuff. So let's see what he's saying about Warhammer again.
Endymion and the saga surrounding Warhammer 40k is now reaching new heights, and we've now entered the part of the controversy where goalposts are being shifted in order to fit new agendas while they hope you don't notice.
Yep.
From one website saying Warhammer is sexist towards women, a former writer of White Dwarf attempting to double down but only making things worse, and how Henry Cavill might be responsible for this mess to begin with. And then at the end, I want to look at another victim of Sweet Baby and show that what's happening to Warhammer is what's happening to other companies, and what the real human cost behind all of this ends up becoming. Firstly, let's look at Games Radar with their article titled How to Stop a Teenage Girl from Playing Warhammer. This article comes from writer Abigail Shannon, who attempts to claim that her personal experience with Warhammer proves that the hobby is tied to misogyny and sexism. She starts off her article saying playing video games has always been a struggle as a woman, so the victim mindset is already in full swing.
Oh god, here we go.
She explains how she would have to turn off her microphone when playing online games to hide that she was a girl. And this somehow was one of the original sins of gaming, that a woman could not speak during a multiplayer.
These stupid. Okay. Who doesn't like? Let's be honest. Who's talking like that in game? Honestly, who's talking like that in game? Who wants to talk to anyone in game? Most people don't want to talk to anyone. Think about it. Most dudes don't want to talk to each other. I don't know what she's talking about. Why don't you ever, like, why don't she ever, like, find a bunch of friends, whether you're on Xbox or PSN, and then literally play and party chat where it's just you and your friends? Why do you have to talk to strangers? Why do you want to talk to strangers? I never see what the point of this argument. Why do you want to talk to strangers? What is the point on a game that you're going to be playing for, like, 5 minutes? Especially if they don't know you. They're going to just say whatever they want because they don't think they have any repercussions to fall about anyway. So what's the point? It defeats the purpose. It defeats all the purpose.
Your game. Yet in all of my experiences of playing video games, I would hear people of all backgrounds and genders speak when I gamed, and nobody cared. Sure, once in a while you'd hear some desperate mouth breather say something along the lines of, "Oh my god, it's a girl playing a video game," but you can just mute those particular people and
call it a day.
Continue on your way.
Yes.
The majority of people don't care, and in most online spaces, people are going to care far more about your ability to play an online game and
And you
actually
talking.
win matches than worry themselves on what's between your legs. But like I said, from the get-go, we got the victim mindset. She then tries to paint Warhammer 40k tabletop games, stripping her and other women like her of their usual anonymity because they have to be
E equals MC squared. But what about F?
This is English lit.
Yes.
We're not teachers. We're connectivity experts. Optimum.
I hate this commercial.
Is big
present while playing it, which means their face and physical self are there as well while they play, which again, yes, that is true. But she paints the concept of Warhammer 40k as being this prison of sorts that she has to put herself into in order to enjoy the tabletop version. But the reality is that if you just buy the tabletop game and play with people you know in your own space, like your house or room,
That's what I'm saying. What's the issue? That's what I just said.
Warhammer that you may introduce yourself into.
I just said it. What is the issue? Why do you want to talk to strangers? I play Overwatch all the time, and I'm not holding no conversation. The only time people talk on Overwatch, 9 times out of 10, is to ask where's who and what's going on in what current situation. We need a Reinhardt. We need a healer. We need where's the heals at? You know what I'm saying? No one's trying to hold a conversation. Why does anyone want to talk to strange people on the internet? Why? If you want to talk to people, go on YouTube. Go on Facebook. Go on Instagram. Go on those. Like, what the hell?
Was within a store is a little nerve-wracking. But the likelihood is that anyone else engaging with that entry-level game is just like you, a newbie. And there's nothing wrong with that, and what I hate about articles like these is they paint the picture that an entire fandom is somehow sexist based on the experiences of this one person who wrote an article. And for all we know, she could be lying, and none of this actually happened, but we have to just take her word for it. Regardless, I doubt
he is right. We don't know if whatever she's saying is even true. She could be just lying.
Most people immediately start playing the full-blown Warhammer.
There's a section in TikTok right now where people are trauma dumping and making up stories just to get views. They never experience whatever the hell they're talking about. They're just making up as they go because it's easier to make up an insane story that they don't need that technically prove compared to like X, Y, and Z. But this is having some serious repercussions on their behalf because when they start saying insane stuff that could be considered pretty offensive or problematic or whatever the case may be to a certain group of people or whatever the case may be, those people are going to start questioning your liability, or I think that's right, your story, because there's going to be people who are going to question, and what they usually do is when they start questioning, they start playing victim and saying you're evil for even questioning them in the slightest. So this makes the idea of victimhood even more problematic.
40k tabletop game right away, since obviously most people will take their time to paint their miniatures and such before that even happens. So already just mere paragraphs into this article, and Games Radar's journalist here is trying to say that gaming and hobby spaces in general are toxic towards women, which I don't doubt is real to some extent. She says when she first visited a Warhammer
They'll say
shop
you're
when she
victim
was 15,
blaming.
the
Yeah,
person
you're
working
victim
there were
blaming.
cold and
Nothing's wrong with questioning the victim because the victim could be lying. This has happened in history. I don't know why people don't think this doesn't happen. Yeah, it may be a little rude to probably ask, but then again, when you think about it, you have to use your brain and be like, there are humans that lie, that exist. Humans lie. The only type of species that can't lie to you is probably an animal. It's very rare for an animal to ever lie or be decisive.
Right?
Like, it is what
lie,
it is.
Humans lie.
It's wild. There's a lot of people who got away with lying for things that never happened and ruined the lives of others or benefited for lying. Gamergate is one of them.
Misogynistic, and she felt insulted that her lack of knowledge on Warhammer was intact instead of being fostered. But she also proves in her own article that instead of combating this guy's moronic statements, she walked away insulted instead. And then she never visited a Warhammer store until 2023, where
Are you kidding me?
She took on the role of the uninterested girlfriend while secretly listening and absorbing information while hiding behind her boyfriend who was talking to the shop clerk. If
She's
you
full
ask me,
crap.
this entire
I
article
feel like
just
it's
sounds
crap.
like this Abigail Shannon person is afraid of confrontation.
Yeah. She's full of crap. She's just a coward. You're a coward. It sounds like to me. Sorry, I'm eating. It sounds like to me that because not only that she doesn't want confrontation, she don't want no opposition from anyone at all. She needs to be always catered to. She needs to be always be affirmed in the sense that anything she does is right, no matter what it is. No one can't say anything to her. That mansplaining thing, like that's ultimately what this is. I don't want to hear anything from another man or even from another woman.
And scurries away at any sign of pushback, which makes it equally ironic that of all the jobs she would pursue, she chose a video games journalist of all things. The point
Ironically,
is that a lot of these articles are popping up all over the internet from all kinds of websites, and they are all attempting to paint the fan base at large as this sexist group of terrible individuals who are not open to the hobby allowing new people. When in truth, this is anything but, as Abigail Shannon here attempts to claim that Warhammer has kind of always been a male club and male-centric, which, yes, it kind of has been because that's how marketing.
so you can't find. You know what's funny? When they say it's male-dominated, you can't find a bunch of females your age who's playing this game. You're just the only one. You know, Discord exists. I'm pretty sure there's one for females. Females who play Warhammer. It's not like that doesn't exist. And if it doesn't exist, make one. Make a Discord. Makes sense to me.
Your product's work. This would be like me, a straight man, walking into Sephora while knowing nothing about makeup. And the women who work there are like, do you even know what you're looking for? And then I just get insulted and I run away crying because they insulted me. Instead,
You're
you
right.
just ask people questions like a normal person and then you get answers in return. Any journalist would know this, and if any friction stops you from entering something, you're probably just not a right fit for those places. And this then opens up that whole other conversation of why gatekeeping is kind of important within these spaces to begin with. Because of course we have the female custodies nonsense happening and Games Workshop in general working to make their environment more inclusive. But the truth is that the reason why Warhammer fans in general are so headstrong and against changes is not because they're sexist bigots, but simply because they've seen already what happens when you let people into these spaces that clearly aren't there for the right reasons. What a lot of people, like this Abigail and others, is they want the environment and community of various franchises to change in order to fit their ideals, which goes directly against the concept of entering a fandom to begin with. Users like this person unironically called Lord of Change, who said Warhammer should not be about war at all, but instead in
what the is my life?
You want to be a software engineer, right? Use our step-by-step.
Romance should be the center of every 40k novel. They're so boring otherwise. Ah yes, the franchise Warhammer, which has war in its name, should instead become Lovehammer, because they don't fit the Lord of Change's ideals, to which another user then replied, human relations
I know,
overall,
right?
Honestly, the uncaring killing machines get boring really fast otherwise. These two people here clearly are wanting to enter Warhammer not to engage with and enjoy the community.
This is so stupid. Imagine someone says, my god, Beyblade is boring. I hate Beyblade. And then tries to fundamentally change everything about Beyblade. It's not even spinning tops, they're driving cars. And calling it Beyblade. Imagine the theme song starts with Tyson and his friends, or whatever era of Beyblade you're watching. You're seeing spinning tops and doing all this stuff. And then when this episode literally starts, they're driving cars and you don't see a single spinning top. Stupid as hell.
But instead they wanted to change to fit their ideals. Like Abigail Shannon, these are not the sort of fans you want in these spaces.
Nope.
Not because of their gender or anything, but simply because they truly
Their
believe
mindset.
everything should be changed to fit what they like. Which makes no sense and proves why gatekeeping has been pushed so heavily since the whole female custody situation.
Yep.
Because it's clear, like any other franchise ruined before it, the activists are eyeing Warhammer next. And they're hoping that over years they can alter and destroy the legacy of what that series meant to so many, which is the perpetual drive of war and destruction, and replace it with romance and identity politics instead.
Stupid.
Which makes you, of course, then ask the question,
You're a
why
communist.
bother attempting to join something like Warhammer if by definition you dislike everything it's about anyways?
Yes, why
The
make your
answer is,
own
of
thing?
course, simply because every other franchise has largely bent the knee to what these activist-minded individuals want already. So if Star Wars, Marvel, and so many others can do it, then why can't Warhammer? And I find it disingenuous and downright disrespectful to want to alter the entire identity of a franchise the moment you enter it. In a lot of ways, think of Warhammer or any other franchise like its own country with their own principles, rules, and so on. You can let the new players in, but once they enter the country, they suddenly want to change everything about the country into
You
where
gained
they
another
came
1K
from,
subs.
which ultimately just brings the same issues they were likely running from the new place they came to, creating a perpetual cycle.
You gain another 1K
Ryle.
subs?
Oops, reacts my fault.
of nonsense.
Thank you.
Instead of respecting the society and rules of Warhammer or country, the activists are uninterested and care little about it and want it to change instead. That just feels wrong to me and downright disingenuous, and when articles like these ones are made, they do nothing but push the idea that gatekeeping must be abolished. Simply because little old Abigail of Games Radar here can't handle confrontation in a store where someone who's paid to help her gave her a little attitude. My answer to all of this is that you actually have to gatekeep even harder, especially now. Don't allow just anyone to enter your spaces if they are coming in with the idea that everything must be changed to fit their moronic ideals. It's the Helldivers 2 give us an LGBTQ plus rainbow cape situation, but on a whole much larger scale. What Warhammer should be doing is keeping themselves apolitical like Helldivers has done as well. I've obviously done videos in the past about Helldivers and how users have attempted to strong-arm Arrowhead Studios into implementing real-world symbolism into that game. And smartly, Arrowhead has said no to every request. There won't be any rainbow flag capes, no Make America Great Again armor, or any other real-world symbol. Because if they did that and caved in, then Helldivers 2 would be facing the same backlash Warhammer is right now with female custodies and these activist morons. Because like always, it's the classic give an inch, take a mile mindset. You give them female custodies now, but what's next? Now that they know that you're willing to bend the knee, they're going to keep pressing until every joint in your body has bent every
mangled.
which way in order to appease them. Mark my words, dear viewer, female Space Marines will happen eventually. Even though Space Marines are very much lore-wise similar to Witchers and only men can become these things, but when you let in a bunch of activists who want love and cuddles in a franchise called Warhammer, you get what you deserve ultimately. And we're already seeing the changes happen. I mean, just look at the Wikipedia pages of Warhammer right now. Prior to all of this, if you looked up Adeptus Custodians on Warhammer's wiki, it would say this. These men are my bodyguards. Their lives forfeit to the guarantee of my physical safety. Of their loyalty to me there shall be no question nor doubt. I and I alone shall have the authority to stand in judgment over them. No other commander shall they have in battle nor in service. None shall bar them from me, and none shall hamper or stall their mission. So it is decreed, as said by the Emperor of Mankind during the Age of Strife. Well, that's not what it says anymore. If you look at it now, these men have been changed to these warriors. Because of course, since apparently exist,
because the progressive has to change the, you know, the hold on. Sound effects? I guess sound effects. Oh, okay, I know what that is. Okay. Sound effects. So that's what the progressive does. This is what the Nazis did. They try to change speech very fast. That's what they do. They get once they get hand of your speech, they try to change it fundamentally to fit their narrative, so you can comply and gaslit you to think that was always there the entire time. You just never noticed. They try to Mandela affect you real fast. Remember, they're trying to do it in slow increments as they do it. See how you read the original, what was there before? That's what they're trying to do.
For a game to fucking Hitler skull.
Yeah, it's insane.
Of mankind has to now refer to his custodians in a gender-neutral term like warriors now. The changes don't stop there either. Looking further down, it says here the custodies is an elite cadre of genetically engineered transhuman male and female warriors.
Oh my god.
So there it is. The lore is now changed. The goalposts moved and the inches have started to become miles in mere days that are taken. You see what happens?
This happens in days!
Your hobbies, fellas, they get taken over by people who have no respect for the franchise in particular to begin with. They won't stop till the Emperor of Mankind is a woman or non-binary, and I guarantee you characters that were male in the lore will become women of diversity as well in the Amazon Prime
That's
show.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying to you. It is a it is a
It gets worse.
It gets worse. It's a Trojan horse. It is a Trojan horse. The woman argument is not what it's about. It's not about females. They're not trying to bring females into the video game. They're trying to bring the rainbow flag into it. That's what it is. The female is just the protected Trojan horse for that to enter in. Remember, I said this to Ari way back when. She says the reason why this is happening is because as long as biological females
Ryo. They want gay rainbow.
Yeah, like what's going to happen is what they want is as long as the biological female is in support of the flag, it will never end. Because if you take the biological female out, it's just a bunch of dudes now. And I'm talking about both straight and female and bi. If you take those three out, it's just a bunch of dudes. It's just a dude flag. It's a boys love flag if you stop and think about it. And I noticed that the people who are not really female have the most power on that behalf. There's a reason for this. There's a it is a Trojan horse. And that's what it is.
Of course, that story about the changes being done thanks to Amazon are starting to hit other websites like that Park Place with theirs titled "Rumor."
They already did it with Pokemon. I think we might even do that video today. We did the video with not we, but there's a video of them making the body types very homogenized for a reason.
Workshop introduced female Adeptus Custodes for Amazon's
they did loudly
Warhammer
crying
40K
face.
series with Henry Cavill. And of course, like I previously reported, these changes are allegedly only being done in order to appease Amazon when...
Why did we get internet from this cell phone company?
Ryaga Samurai. I seen what they did to Pokemon Go.
Yeah, it's wild.
Their contractual agreement with Games Workshop. Apparently, some more stuff got unearthed, and there's some victim blaming behind the scenes from that 4chan post that started the rumor. Apparently, Henry Cavill jumped the gun on the announcement of Warhammer at Amazon, and this scared Games Workshop because the deal was nowhere near being finalized. But Cavill was parading around as if the ink was already dry and the choices were already made. According to that same leaker, they said, nothing was inked when Cavill announced it, and it sent everyone at Games Workshop into a panic. Shareholders put an immediate stop to any work until the contract was hammered out and the negotiations were brutal. If it could impact profits on the minis, Games
and
Workshop
I agree that she was way too horrible. I mean, I get they're trying to be inclusive, but like...
There's inclusivity and there's forced inclusivity. As long as you have forced inclusivity, it'll never be genuine.
Touch it, which is why this Custodes thing was a dumpster fire. People who should have known about it didn't, and success or not, people are going to be let go. And when I was on
Samurai.
Flashcast this weekend,
Hi,
Flash
Ryo.
had Arch on the live stream too, so I got to ask him some questions about Warhammer, and he echoed the same story as well.
Ryo.
That the deal was not
Hide.
finalized before Henry Cavill said what he did on the series existing and all of that. So what some are gathering from this rumor leak is that Henry Cavill is to some extent to blame for the existence of female custodies, and the very poor deal Games Workshop has signed onto when it came to their franchise being turned into what it is going to become on Amazon. Because of that bad deal, Games Workshop has allegedly much less power in what exactly happens with the live-action series, which is why Amazon was able to get the existence of female custodies to be retconned and implemented
Ryo.
into the lore prior
One
to
man,
signing
all
the
women.
deal. But apparently it goes beyond this too, as there was some more stuff leaked from the same source. Again, take it as rumor, but it's getting spoken about everywhere. Anyway, the leaker then said that the reason why female custodies exist in the first place goes beyond the fact that Amazon wanted more representation. And actually, Amazon's higher-ups, when reviewing the source material, didn't like the concept of the Sisters of Silence because they don't speak.
Ryo
It's in their
Samurai.
name.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Man, these people will find anything just to say, oh, look, is evil men doing something? Oh my god, dude.
Ryo. Laud.
Like, bro, they just said the Sisters of Silence, and now they took that as an offense.
Ryo.
Jesus, boy.
Crazy.
And of course, in the eyes of progressive companies making media to boost their ESG score, the concept goes against their tenets. So you want them to adapt a group of women who don't speak? That's sexist apparently, and very problematic.
Yep,
But beyond
see?
that, Amazon apparently also doesn't like the Sisters of Battle either, because they are, in Amazon's own words, too religious. And of
Too
course-
religious.
Silence for a reason.
It's too religious. Oh my god. You notice they picked the most symbolism looking franchise ever to change stuff. You notice this, right? They didn't pick any. This is what I'm saying to you. They didn't pick any shows from the past that already has inclusivity. They didn't try to reboot like Fillmore,
Ryo.
Life of Juniper Lee.
What god are they worshipping to fight?
You know what I'm saying? What do you see? What do you call it? Static Shock. What else? What other shows? There's a lot of shows that was American Jake Long. What else? Shoot, Kim Possible. Like, I know this is Amazon. They don't have some of those. I split it off, like 4 of them are Disney and 1 is the Warner Brother one. But what I'm saying is there are shows that star just a minority as the leading role. They don't reboot these things. Actually, my sister pointed out something. You notice that Disney never once touched on The Princess and the Frog. They haven't
Ryo
never made
Samurai.
a
And that chicken was dry, real dry.
real dry. Real dry. He broke up with his girlfriend and said, man, that chicken
Ryo.
was dry.
Jeff Bezos don't care.
He just don't care. But like what's funny is like Disney never once touched on the Princess and the Frog. You notice that, right? Princess Tiana has not been touched once. She has not been mentioned or ever been brought up in Disney discussions in the slightest. Ain't that a little bit odd?
Ryo. For real.
Actually, you hear more about Lilo than you hear about Princess Tiana. I wonder why. You know what I'm saying? Think about that. Think very close on that. They want to be inclusive, but they keep taking the
Ryo Samurai. Basically
collecting dust. Yes.
Growing push for
It's
wokeness
wild.
in every regard, religion, especially that of Christianity or Catholic faith, is seen as problematic in the eyes of many
Ryo.
creatives across the globe
She
when
just
it comes
sits
to
there to
media
rot.
being made.
Yep.
So essentially, based on what I'm seeing here, Amazon hated every female option they had available.
But note, they purposely made Ariel black. And they made that cartoon show for kids, for little kids to have red hair and black. But they never touched on Princess Tiana. Actually, they never even touched on that one show of that black girl who's a Disney doctor. You know what I'm talking about, that for
Right
PBS
on.
Kids? For
It's
PBS?
crazy.
Not PBS, for Disney. They have that Disney show with the black girl who pretends to be a doctor. You notice they have never really worked upon that show other than it's just exception. That's it. They never really tried to push that as something for kids to watch for little girls. You notice it's always all the stuff boys are either into or things that already was popular. They're just trying to race swap it.
Ryo. Mguff stuffins, I think.
I look at race swapping as like sloppy seconds. That's what that is. It's sloppy seconds in a nutshell. Your sloppy seconds, everything that you claim is popular and needs to be changed. Ain't that kind of messed up in itself? That's crazy.
To them in terms of being lore accurate to what Warhammer 40K
Instead of just making something brand new.
Would either get a group of silent women or women who are pro-religion, which are sacrilegious in their eyes. And you already know some games journalist or blue-haired armpit woman with 5 personality disorders would watch that potential Warhammer live-action series and see that the women are either trained to be silent or pro-religion, and their liberal-infested brains would explode in a frenzy. And then the articles would pop up, why the Sisters of Silence are problematic and the product of toxic masculinity. And then Amazon's higher-ups would go, oh, we screwed up, the press hates us, and then they would run damage control and apologize. Everything I explained would have been fine if it was made
for real.
10 or so years ago,
That's
but in
wild.
today's far more insane era, these concepts are something that just can't exist anymore.
Remember back in the game when a girl had crazy colored hair or like she was goth or whatever the case may be? You just I said this I think a few months ago. You just kind of thought she knows how to party. You remember back in the day in the early 2000s when a girl had a bunch of colored hair and crazy tattoos or a case may be, or even just goth? You thought, oh, she know how to party. Now she's an activist. And she's probably annoying. Like, very annoying. And she wants you to be some type of thing. It's wild. It's like, what was cool is considered...
Not supposed to submit to gender, doesn't exist apparently.
This is a religion,
Christianity
bro.
and
This is a
Catholics are
cult
evil
religion.
in the eyes of these woke crazy people. But of course,
Right,
every other
samurai.
religion is fine, just
Or
not
she
the
was
ones
chill
that are
and
largely
rebellious.
supported by
Yep.
white people.
She was just chill and rebellious. And yeah, she still did the activist thing, but it was not real. Let's be honest. She just did the activist thing because it made her look like kind of like a cool person. It looked like she had something to stand up for in life, but she never really went out for like crazy stuff
It's
like that.
Hitler all over again.
Yeah, it is what it is. It is literally Germany all over again.
Because white people are evil after all, which is beyond stupid, but that's what this world has come to. So the leaker finishes by saying that ultimately, based on all the...
This interview left me speechless. It's bigger than natural selection and the theory of relativity.
I don't care.
avenues Amazon had available to them when it came to female representation, none of it made them happy. So they used the already bad deal that Games Workshop was being strong-armed into and gave Amazon even more free creative control over the IP. And then this leaker would say the female Inquisitor
Yeah, but they
in power
wasn't too
armor was the
annoying
last
about it.
hope, but Amazon
Nope, there was never. If there was annoying, it was just because you literally got into a conversation with it, and then what they had enough sense back then to say, you know what, it is what it is, whatever. You're an a-hole. Let's move on from the conversation. We'll talk about something else. That will do that. I miss those chicks. Where's those chicks? Where's the chicks where you had an argument?
Amazon took over Hashbin, but this is wrong.
Like think about it. Where was the day when where were those chicks who argue for a social justice issue at the time, and then when you didn't agree with them, they'll call you a name, but they'll move on and say, you know what, whatever, you're an a-hole for thinking that, but I'll just move on because not everyone's gonna think like I do. That woman used to exist. Now that doesn't exist. It does not exist, or if it does exist, it really is quietly said. Like it's very insane.
To be able to take the character out of the armor,
and they will add children to IT.
Oh my god, even worse. They'll bring their children to this nonsense. They'll bring it, depending on what the social issue is, they'll bring their kids. And remember, these are not like grown teenagers or something who can like think for themselves to a certain extent or don't want to be there. It'll be like kids like 3 and up. They'll be like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 at max, probably 12. And bring them into these like degenerate, insane rallies and
They don't want to be there. They don't know what they're doing.
And what's worse, 9 times out of 10, if their mom is taking them to some insane social justice warrior like activist thing, the mom is usually single. I rarely ever see like a father bringing their kids to an activist nonsense, because most dads don't have time for that nonsense. Because they're too busy working, and then when they work, they don't want to go nowhere. They want to stay home and sleep.
Ryo. For real.
Straight up. And they're usually have
samurai.
activist hairstyles. Usually blue hair, crazy in hair, and they're usually past like the age of 30 or 40, and they're usually overweight.
Them be powerful. It's all been a massive headache.
And want kids to conform to tolerance or some nonsense.
Deal Games Workshop made with Amazon, and unfortunately,
I tell you, kids are the most tolerant people ever. They're non-tolerant and they're tolerant. Kids are they'll question something, but they're usually tolerant towards it, especially when they don't think you're a threat.
Some wearing rainbow capes, loudly crying face.
Yeah, I find it very weird when they cloak themselves in that's right there. Yeah, and they'll be mad young. Like mad young. They're not even like, oh, I'm a 16-year-old type nonsense. It's like literally 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, like middle school, preschool ages here, bro. It's kind of wild.
A massive win for Warhammer fans has turned into yet another
Hey, Draw Time. Thank you for the likes. I
power
appreciate you. Thank you.
situation. God help me. Obviously, as far as we know anyway, Henry Cavill is still involved. Well, as of the making of this video anyway. But Games Workshop has apparently said internally via this leak they have absolutely zero plans to make any female custodies available physically to buy or anything like that.
Because they know no one's gonna sell.
Those would not sell well.
Thank you. They know it's not gonna sell
whatsoever, and would just be a waste of creating in the first place. And I wouldn't be surprised if people lost their jobs over this really bad deal that got finalized, because this move will cost Warhammer money and fans in the long run. Sure, they'll likely gain some fans akin to Fallout's Prime Show, but it's a different beast here entirely. Warhammer is not meant to be progressive. It's not supposed to represent our timeline right now in any way. It is obviously in its name within the 40,000 timeline, so any of the concepts we're dealing with now are ancient problems in Warhammer's universe. The reason why people love that universe is because it's a unique blend of religious fanaticism, war, and brutality. It's almost as if in the future of mankind, the socio-political ideals of our world have been reduced and replaced by the ways of old. Gone are social media influencers or other nonsense like that, and all that remains is the unified glorious might of an emperor wielding the power of an entire race in order to spread the glory of the Imperium across any planet their light touches. There's something beautiful in that, simple even. And I think Warhammer would benefit staying true to itself and taking a page out of Helldiver's book and just keeping the game's world separate from the outside influences. Because escapism is...
If majority of most of these stories did this, they will do a lot better and still make a profit. They'll make a profit, like geez.
Clearly important, and I don't think Warhammer fans would enjoy some female custodian asking for the pronouns of other soldiers. Because in reality, if someone asked that in Warhammer, they would be answered with a shotgun blast to the face or worse for spewing heresy. But that's what's apparently being said here, which is that in a sense, allegedly, Henry Cavill is kind of to blame for this mess by jumping the gun with all of this. So what do you think about all of that? Let me know in the comments. Now let's move on to that former White Dwarf magazine writer Nick Davis. I covered his previous response in another video, but he has since then responded. Too long didn't read version. Basically, Nick Davis tried to say
you're gone.
Female custodies is fine because Warhammer's lore is based on unreliable narrators, and obviously fans tore him a new one. So Nick is back again, this time to try to explain himself better. He said, and I quote, "Okay, let's try this one more time. I'm not devaluing anyone's experience of the gaming hobby, and I cannot talk to whatever Games Workshop does with their social media or any other decision. Even when I worked for them on White Dwarf, I was never in a position of any influence beyond any goodwill I may have garnered with my work and sharing my joy of the hobby over the years I was there. The primary point of my post on Tuesday is don't let the lore get in the way of having fun with your friends.
What?
I've been around Games Workshop games since Warhammer 1st Edition. I've seen the games and universe around them change many times.
Load shotgun shot
when
slash
the
gun.
custodies were introduced in Rogue Trader 40k First Edition.
You know, and you notice, like, I never really like to converse with people too long when they have the pronouns in their name. in their bio, because I always gotta think there's gonna be a conversation or a subject that's gonna pop up, and they're gonna feel some type of form of attack.
They were just skinny guys in cloaks and masks, armed with a laser rifle in the shape of a lance, and they never ever left the Imperial Palace. In many ways, they were never meant to be a playable army, and RT was more about skirmish action than full-blown army action.
Ryle,
Another example that
you're
in Warhammer
sexist every
2nd
time.
Edition, you could take a day trip to
Yeah,
Lustria
every time.
and pick up bolt
Every time. And remember, what's more annoying about this? The pronouns don't stay permanent. That's what makes this annoying. That's what a lot of people don't really understand. They'll say up pronouns now, but they don't stay permanent. So if you're a female who identifies as a dude, that can change at any moment, any time, tomorrow, any second. Right? It's gonna be like, okay, imagine if I had a friend and she identifies as a male and she wanted me to call me her or him or whatever. And then a week later she says she wants me to call him her
Ryle.
again. And then go
Now,
back
like
to
2 days
they.
later it's she/they, when it was just he/him.
Him. Have you not noticed? Have you not noticed something about the people who say they, them pronouns? Have you noticed that in every movie, video game, the person who uses they, them pronouns are usually crazy? Lord of the Rings, the thing that wants the ring, I forgot his name. Gollum, I think, I forgot his name. And then Spider-Man, Venom, we are Venom.
Ryle.
Are usually
Yeah.
crazy, off-putting, or a villain. You know what's this? They're usually crazy. Or people who are in mental asylum usually refer to themselves either as
Ryle.
we, they.
They crackhead level.
Yeah, the we, they, or the what was it?
Ryaga Samurai. The green little dude.
The green little dude. Yeah, or oh my god, what was it?
Ryaga Samurai. Or gray.
Or gray, or what was it? What was the term? It was they, them, we, or they're from a mental asylum, and they refer themselves in the third person. You know what I'm saying? Have you noticed people who talk like this is usually crazy anyway?
Ryle. They, them, we, us.
Yeah, it's wild.
Ryle. That's all I know.
And it's scary.
that were just laying around on that continent.
And it's a social contagion. I don't know if you guys saw that video of these two little girls who are at I think inclusive brigade. I'm not gonna say the rainbow pride thing. One girl is saying that she's trans mask or something. I don't know what that means. I think she's trans but masculine or something. They're trying to make it sound very different and unique. And the person had to ask, the interviewer lady had to ask, what does trans mask mean? What is mask? Do you mean trans masculine? And she's like, yes. So she turned to her friend that was next to her. She's like, what about you? She said, I'm trans and I go by he, him pronouns. And then as soon as she says that, the friend who already says she's trans mask says, I do that too. Instantly said it as soon as her friend said it. So what it is, it's not about them being identifying as such.
Ryo. No.
It is how much interesting am I than the friend that's next to me. It's a social contagion. That's what it ultimately is.
Ryo. The children loudly crying face.
Because when growing up, remember as a kid, these words never even existed. This type of talk never existed. And if anyone talked like this, you thought they was just playing around and kidding. And they usually were kidding. Now they take it so seriously they make it their personality, and it's dangerous. This is a dangerous rhetoric.
You've infected the children.
Yeah, it's wild.
The then Amazons who also...
Now, I have no problem, let me just put it on something. I have no problem with them who wants to do this nonsense, but don't force me to expect to go buy your Kaiosha, your Genjutsu, because it's not going to work. Once you start forcing me to do X, Y, and Z on something that you made up on the fly, we're not playing that game.
Inhabited the Lustria had access to a lot of suspicious looking 40k tech. Wonder what happened to those...
Sir, it's ma'am. It's ma'am, sir.
Amazons and bolt guns appearing in the Warhammer world, the concept of the gaming lore, which I may have explained poorly, but I never expected my defense of inclusion and just having fun with your games to blow up like it did. Is the lore should be considered a mythology and never an absolute. We only have to look at our own history for precedent, as that has changed in its definition and discovery all the time, and the worlds Game Workshop created are treated in the same way. Unreliable narration is baked in, as it should be, because the history of the universe is so vast that something always will be forgotten. This was deliberate to give you, the gamer, a sandbox to shape as you will. This also gave Games Workshop leeway to introduce cool new things.
Not the
Remember that
GameStop
Tau did not
incident,
exist
LOL.
in the 2000s, and the Necrons were only given form back in the mid-90s. And they started as Eldritch horrors.
Bro, I tell you something. When you know you was walking into a Twilight Zone, that video started a lot of things.
If my child ever walks up to me and says I have pronouns, they not my child
anymore. You're right.
To throw as a surprise
You
third force in your games, and let's not talk about the SWATs, I mean Votans.
Don't let them say
All
those
I wanted
crazy
to do is
things.
express the
It's going to
core
end
of
up
what I feel is
ruining them in the
important
long
about the
run.
hobby. Inclusion is a good thing, and the game is about community, joy, sharing, being social, and throwing buckets of dice at your mates as you frag
Okay,
them
let's
with
change
an Imperial
that
Guard,
hair.
sorry,
Hair,
Astra
let's
Militarium
go.
firing line. I hope this explains a little more about my thoughts. Now go play some games with
Head
your
looks-
mates, paint
looks
some
like a
toy
big
soldiers,
head.
build some terrain from what you find in the
Jimmy
dumpster,
Neutron
and have
head.
fun, play well, my friends. End quote. While what Nick Davis says here sounds well and good as he attempts to wash his hands clean of the controversy, many are saying that he's laying down and taking it in order to appease to the activists. As one user responded by saying, "That's a lot of words just to say you missed the point. Has Star Wars gotten better as a franchise?"
Man,
or worse since the
filibustered his
Disney
way
takeover?"
through.
To which Nick Davis replied, "Disney, that has built the fortune on
Ryo.
kids media, takes
I
over
will
another
protect them with my
franchise
life.
that built its fortune
If anyone
on kids
tries
media."
to drag him or her
I
in,
would say
I'm
Star
getting
Wars
a life
is the same
sentence.
storytelling quality
Protect
it was
them.
before Disney bought it.
You'd be surprised how far
Nick,
this
Star
goes.
Wars after Disney bought it is nowhere
I
near
have
the
some
same level of
questions. Yeah, sure.
storytelling or
What's your
world
question?
building compared to what George Lucas did prior. You can just tell this guy is the epitome of "I agree with the current
I'm
thing
here
to
watching,
a T."
okay.
He just doesn't want to step on any toes. Is this kind of mentality that leads to many hobbies and franchises like Star Wars becoming absolute garbage in record time? Because people like Nick don't push back, they don't ask questions, they just open the door and smile while their entire house gets looted and lit on fire with him still inside of it. Then a user says in response to his "Star Wars is fine" comment by saying, "Okay, so follow me here. Can you see why fans were upset at the horrible writing in the sequels? Example, somehow Palpatine returned." To which Nick Davis said, "I never saw the last Star Wars movie. Life got very busy for me and I've not found the time to watch it. So I can't comment on it. I am watching Shogun, so I can talk about that, or Rick and Morty just finished the last season." So clearly Nick telling you that Star Wars' storytelling is the same level as its peak days can't be taken with any merit. This is simply a guy who rolls over and lets people walk all over him as long as he's not labeled a bigot, and it's sad to see. Always pathetic when people have zero drive or morals when it comes to anything. They just look at what's socially acceptable no matter how crazy or batshit insane it is, and they go, "Yeah, that's my opinion, so the mob doesn't attack me." It's pathetic, there's no other way to put it, but it's okay. That's why me and other people who cover these things are here, because I'll tell you what Nick is afraid to say. The truth is, these people infiltrating Warhammer, Star Wars, and more are insane people who hate everything and want their hate and insane ideals to be reflected in everything they interact with.
To start the process, we're going to replace the biggest item here.
How do you
the
draw
dining table.
realistic lips?
It has served
if
us
drawn
well when it was just me
sideways?
and my wife, but
Like
as
the
my
head
family
turned
grows,
sideways.
it's time
Realistic
to move on.
lips or anime
And while
lips?
we're at it, we're going to remove everything else out as
with. And if any pushback is given to their claims, they will attack you, tear you down, and force you into submission until you're begging for mercy. Warhammer
Do you
should
have a
never
reference
become
you can
any
show me
version
that you
of
want to work
Lovehammer
on?
like these people
Because
want.
having a reference
And
does
lore
help.
is important, despite Nick Davis rolling
It
over
gives
like
you
a
a
dead
sense
sea
of
turtle
if
here
it's
when
right
he's
or
faced
wrong.
with backlash. If lore, quality, and integrity don't matter when it comes to a franchise, then that franchise is dead and has fallen alongside the others. And the only logical way forward is to close your wallet and laugh as a sinking ship continues to fall apart as they scream for help. Sure, you'll get called a bigot and some form of phobic, but hey, that's what you get when you tell the people who would have saved you that you don't want them anymore. This is a colossal failure in Games Workshop, as well as the people they employ to safeguard their sacred franchise. And if this is a level of respect they're willing to give when it comes to these things, then they should expect nothing less than a lack of respect from the fans in return. You did this to yourselves. I hope your company has savings because you're gonna need it. Also, 3D printing exists, by the way, so fans don't even need
to buy from you
to supply them with miniatures anyways.
Yep.
Finally,
He's
let's
not
end with
wrong.
that sweet baby story, which ties
He's not wrong. This is probably why they don't sell toys anymore, because you don't even have to make toys anymore. You can make your own damn toy. Think about it. You can make your own damn toy. Maybe this is why most TV shows don't cater to the boys anymore, or little girls of selling toys anymore with TV tie-ins anymore, because they can make their own damn toy anyway with the 3D printer. It makes sense. If you have a, like, I can show you. Just request to go up as a guest. Oh no. You guys send me that on Discord or something. Join Discord and send that to me as a message. Because last time I let someone run up here, it went left. Nope. The only reason people will get up here is either you're a subscriber, a mod, and that's it. I don't let people in here just because they're asking. You have to be a student to even get that type of privilege in that sense. So go to the Discord, go to Linktree, go to Discord,
Ryo.
Join Discord and send me the message.
Second, and then you can make your own damn toys.
Yeah, you can make your own damn toys. Like the dude, he said he doesn't like this. What Deviant said. This is what he said.
Nothing less than a lack of respect from the fans in return. You did this to yourselves. I hope your company has savings because you're gonna need it. Also, 3D printing exists, by the way, so fans don't even need Games Workshop to supply them with miniatures anyways. Finally, let's end with that sweet baby story, which ties into this Warhammer nonsense too. From that Park Place, we have this article titled, Sweet Baby Inc. reveals dev team behind Shadow Gambit The Cursed Crew shut down, costs were exceeding revenues. Sadly, another game studio has shut down after their game has failed, which coincidentally was consulted by Sweet Baby Inc. This news is actually from last year, but nobody heard about it until now.
Oh yeah,
here's what
just
Sweet
make what
Bing
you
Bong
want
Baby
with printing.
said on their LinkedIn about this closure. We are saddened to learn that Shadow Gambit The Cursed Crew is Mimi's last game. We're incredibly proud to have helped bring this final voyage to shore by collaborating on the game's protagonist Afia with Matthias Kraut, Moritz Wagner, and the rest of the crew at Mimi Games. Our collaboration helped make the world of the Cursed Caribbean feel more inclusive and representative.
Oh, God.
Very happy to see that players have resonated with the game as evidenced by its incredible reception. The Mimi team is amazing and deserves to land on their feet. We would be happy to connect folks in our network who are looking for talented developers with the studio. Send us a DM if you are interested. It's insane to me that even in the face of an entire game studio closing down and everyone losing their jobs, Sweet Baby has the audacity to say players resonated with the game and had an incredible reception.
Oh my
But that's
God.
not true. On Steam alone, here's the actual player counts. They had an all-time peak of just over 3,000 players, and barely had over 100 players per day since then at best. This is not good numbers for any game, especially one that has servers where costs have to be maintained. Here's what the devs said about all of this and the closure. Making these games was amazing and extremely taxing at the same time. Reaching the level of quality Mimi strives for is hard and requires focus and dedication. We also have to acknowledge that our future production costs are growing faster than potential revenues of the genre. The increased financial pressure and level of risk became unsustainable. So the game clearly was not making enough for them to keep supporting it in the long run. So the studio died, the game is pretty much dead now too, but in Sweet Baby's eyes it was a win because they made the Caribbean more inclusive and diverse, I guess. You see what I mean?
This is a cult, bro.
Games nobody cares about.
This is a cult.
They don't talk about the quality of the gameplay or anything. Just
it's like it's for the cause. It's like Hydra. You know what I'm saying? It's like Hydra. It doesn't matter if we lost so many soldiers. What matters is if we got our objective out of the way. No matter how meaningless the objective is. It doesn't even have to even make an impact in anything. Just the fact that we did it as a whole makes it okay. It's a cult. This is a cult, bro. This is a wild cult.
Exclusivity. This is what's happening to Warhammer as well as many other franchises right now. And when any of these franchises go up and die, it'll be the same nonsense reason. Well, we lost billions.
I tell you something, wokeism is the biggest religionist man-made cult I have ever seen.
Revenue, everyone is jobless, but hey, at least we weren't racist, I guess.
You take requests? Yes, I do, but you have to, if you want to request, you gotta go to my Linktree and see TikTok gift request menu, and you can see the coins that correlate to that thing, so you can go check for yourself. There's a literal menu and it shows you.
But
If
this
you
is
can
what
see
they
it, that
as
is. Can you see
progress,
the
and
link
as a
tree?
massive win
I
for
mean, the
gaming
link tree in my
somehow.
bio.
And the same is happening now with Warhammer. Sure, their stocks are plummeting and fans are canceling subscriptions en masse. But at least we're being more inclusive to a community that
Ryle,
won't support us in any
you want to know
meaningful way in
something?
the future.
At
Whether
this
it's
point,
journalists claiming
LGBTQ
Warhammer
is a cult.
Yeah, it is. It ultimately, it's not in it's the T and the Q that's more the cult. The other first three letters, they're just on the they're in it for the ride. It's the T and the Q and the plus that is driving everything down off the cliff. That's ultimately what it is. It's the T and the Q that is and the plus that is driving off the cliff. The other first few letters, they're not even that much of a threat anymore. There was never like the G was at one point, and when it first in fruition in 2008. Now 2008, we're in 2024.
Ryle,
Those
I
are
forgot
the
what
thing
Q
of a
was.
pass. Hold on. What does why did you brush the hair like for identifying? Yes, it's what I'm doing is I'm molding the hair the way I want it to be, and then I will refine it. So I'm technically making a sketch by painting it out, and then I make the hair out of it. That's pretty much how it works. 9 times out of 10. Real quick, like, subscribe, share, follow, and comment if you guys enjoy this and all that great stuff. This was a great video from Ademion. He hit the nail on the head with all that stuff, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Alright, so let me answer your question real quick. It says, what does the brush use for hair? It's a brush that I made myself, that I use to identify, use the molding method.
Ryle.
It's
lesbian, gay, bisexual, trans, and I forgot Q.
Q is queer. It's questioning everything. I think ultimately what that means is you're questioning all, orientations. You're questioning orientation. You not know what you are. This is where the non-binary thing comes in.
Ryle. Ooh.
Yeah, that's where
Ryle.
they come from.
Crazy.
It's a cult. It's a cult.
excluded them for their
So with that said, I'll see you guys in the next one. Okay, let me see. We did that one.
He's a handsome boy.
Thank
Pardon me
you.
for saying this, Teach, but he's a literal woof.
Thank you. I'm gonna clean him up a little bit more. He's looking
Ryle.
good, but he can look better.
But the worst sexuality? Zoophile.
Yeah, that one's definitely gonna be added to that eventually. They already have they won't put a P, they'll put an M at the end of that. They'll put an M of that. It'll be Z or M. Either one, the Z or the M is gonna come eventually on that, one way or another. That's what the plus is for. Anyway, what does the brush do? So if you're looking for a commission or you want to request commission, you have to go to the link tree. Hopefully you can see it.
By far, one of the funniest headlines that I think I have read.
Oh, sorry about this. Okay, so this is from, what's his name? Hypnotic. I know we didn't really have watched any of stuff, but he kind of falls into the same categories as the Endymions and all that stuff.
LGBTQZ skull didn't add more.
Didn't add more. Yeah, there's more. There's more. No, there's a number in it. There's a number in the letters. There's a number 2 in it. For those who don't know, this is Hypnotic. He kind of falls in the same categories of most of the Endymions and Neurotics, the somewhat of a clownfish and all that stuff. He talks about the same problems that's plaguing gaming and movies and everything. And this is what it says. It says, BlackRock CEO Larry Fink forced into hiding. Woke leader spends 800,000 on private security. Oh, bam, bro. That sucks. But this is your leader. This is the leader of all this. I'm just letting you know.
Ryle.
The person who started all this.
Attracted to math like.
Are you attracted to math? No, literally, there's a 2 in it. I did not know that. It means two-spirited, whatever the hell that means. So the person who started all this who brought this to the West, pretty much was Larry Fink of BlackRock, the CEO. He brought this. He's the one with the forced behaviors. He's the one, and Vanguard has all ties and majority of all the things you're into, from your favorite movies, video games, companies, clothing lines, foods, anything you can think of. They probably have some form of stock in it. So in this particular situation, he's hiding from crazy people because he forced behaviors, and then when you force behaviors, bad things happen to you. I never heard anything forced and it went well.
Man, that division sign looking kinda hot, skull.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this has to be, by far, one of the funniest headlines that I think I have read regarding BlackRock. And I got to be honest with you, I didn't think you guys would be too interested over the deep dive that we've been doing on BlackRock lately, but it seems like you guys thoroughly enjoy it, so please make sure to like the video. But we're discussing how BlackRock's Larry Fink, aka the CEO of the company, has apparently tripled their spending on security for this one man, all because of supposed anti-woke backlash.
What is that actually happened? Of course it happened. I think this is a reflection of how, like...
Oh, man!
Raiga Samurai.
Let's go!
And the number 6 looking kinda bad, though.
The number 6 looking kinda bad.
Now, again, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's pretty damn funny because this is Larry Fink, right? This is the man who is all for forcing you to enact social change. This is the man who
started all. He's the one who started all this, or one of the major players of all this, from your Warhammers to your Marvels, you know, to your MCU looking the way it is, what they did to Spider-Man, Batman, Superman, virtually anything that was made in the West, this man forced himself upon.
NGL, that pi equation is looking mad, the CRN.
Ideologies on people that don't want to believe them organically, don't want to see them organically, don't actively want to look for that kind of stuff,
behaviors.
and yet he is the one that loves to force it. And we just got off of a video talking about Larry Fink's CEO earnings call, right? When he was going over the actual earnings call with investors and whatnot, and talking about how people are trying to make BlackRock into a political company. We are the ones. That's a conspiracy right now, right?
You are from default.
We are the ones that are trying to make BlackRock into a political company. This is the same company that actively pushes ESG on everything that they invest in. They have requirements for their funding, and the requirements for their funding is that these companies actively pursue ESG and showcase examples of how they are doing so. Otherwise, guess what happens? Their investments get cut. So let's get into this article, guys, from Financial Times. But of course, before we do, if you are new here,
how aren't you political when you're pushing this thing on me? How is that not political? I want to play my video games in peace.
Why are they TRYJNG to make IT political? They doing nothing.
Just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it, and like the video to push us out into that YouTube algorithm.
Man, I tell you, some people who are woke are never self-aware.
For Larry Fink after anti-woke backlash. Asset manager CEO has become a popular target for criticism over its ESG investing stance. Now, of course, the CEO of BlackRock is going to be the one who is probably going to get the most backlash. Why would that be? Well, quite frankly, he is the face of the company. Larry Fink is the actual face of the company, even though he may not be the ultimate person there. If you want to have conspiracies about who really controls BlackRock, at the end of the day, Larry Fink is the CEO of BlackRock, and thus he is going to get most of people's ire, right?
Look at this turtle man. He looked like a Ninja Turtle. He looked like a washed up Ninja Turtle. Got a job. Look at this Ninja Turtle. Look at him. Like a finger. Jesus Christ. He looked like he'll eat your Butterfinger and say you did it.
Like, he's going to be the target of people's ire every single time because he's the face of the company. So let's not pretend like this is something new. This happens to all CEOs of many different companies that screw over their fan bases and actively try to enact ridiculous ESG nonsense. It says BlackRock more than tripled its spending on home security for Larry Fink last year after the asset manager's chair and chief executive became a target for anti-woke activists and conspiracy theorists. Yeah, because
we're the conspiracy like a turtles in a half shell.
Turtles in a half shell head ass
theorists, right? We're the ones who are making everything political. Not you, not the one that has ESG requirements, not the one that has social change.
He ruined everything.
This
man has destroyed your Star Wars, peoples. He has destroyed your avatars, peoples. He has destroyed your virtually your Scooby-Doos. That's why Velma exists. Because he exists, Velma exists. Because he exists, Warhammer's the way it is. The way he exists, why he exists.
He did what?
He ultimately, this man is the reason why everything is woke. He's the one who started this. He started one of the major people who started this, who said he needs to force behaviors. He said in an interview, saying that we need to force behaviors.
Death sentence.
Yeah, he's the one who said we need to force behaviors for people to
right now.
For people to you're sleeping, you're snoring. You need people to X, Y, and Z to have inclusivity to be the most important thing than what the business actually needs. That's what they have done.
Trying to use money as some sort of a bribe or, on second thought, extortion against companies once they actively invest in them. Yeah, no, it's not you. You're definitely not the ones making things political. It's us. The ones who are talking about literally what you do every day. You're the ones that are not political, and we are. It's ridiculous. The $10.5 trillion money manager paid.
Oh, we got
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
We got a subscriber. We got a student. Yay, let's go. We got a student. Let's go.
Ryle. Base boost.
Let's go. We got a student. That is so cool. New goal. We finally reached our 15 goal. Let's go. I'm so happy now. Thank you for being my 15th subscriber. Now I gotta make a new goal. How are we gonna make a new goal? Okay, we go to 15 and we go to, I'll go up to like 20. 20.
We got him. Welcome to the classroom.
Welcome to the classroom, bro. Thank you so much for that. New goal. I'm a student. Yes, you're a student. So you can ask any question you like, any art question, and I'll answer it the best as I can. You get also special privileges like song requests and all that stuff, but we're not playing any songs right now, so you can't make a request today. But when I'm back on tomorrow, I'll definitely be doing song requests if you want.
$563,513 to
upgrade
the home security system
at
Fink's residences during 2023, on top of
$216,837
of protection by bodyguards, according to BlackRock's disclosure of executive compensation in its proxy filed earlier this month. So they spent 2/3 of $1 million upgrading Larry Fink's security, both in person and the actual security systems.
Wow.
They spent double on the security
That's crazy,
systems than they
bro.
actually did on bodyguards. It is insane the amount of money that they're spending trying to protect this man. And protect him from what? I don't really know. I think it's all bullshit at the end of the day. This is a company that's worth a $10+ trillion and has an assets worth of $10+ trillion, and they're spending what? Pennies for them? This is nothing. This is literally just this is fodder to make Larry Fink feel safer and to push the narrative that anti-woke people are the bad guys. Anti-woke people are coming after Larry Fink. It's ridiculous. The 71-year-old head of the world's largest money manager has been singled out by conservative and fringe groups as part of a backlash against BlackRock's use of investing based on environmental, social, and governance factors. Yeah, because every person who hates
I can
Larry
tell you
Fink,
where you can work at, but definitely I will. Did you go to the Discord? I'll definitely look at it and read it out for you. Have no problem. Thank you for being my 15th subscriber. I appreciate it very much. So hold on real quick. I have that playing. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to stop that. Let's go.
or hates what ESG is doing has to be a conservative, right? There's no way they could be anything else. According to Financial Times, or whoever wrote this from Financial Times, they live in a world of black and white. So if you disagree with Larry Fink, that automatically makes you a conservative, that automatically makes you alt-right, that automatically makes you whatever. They have this view of black and white. There is no nuance here. There is no gray area here.
Gotcha.
They think that if you are against this stuff, you are completely on one side of the aisle, and there's no such thing as an in-between. Then it says BlackRock was repeatedly referenced in the primary section election debates between Donald Trump's rivals for the Republican Party's presidential nomination. Vivek Ramaswamy, one of the candidates, called Fink the king of the woke industrial complex and the ESG movement. I mean, is that wrong? Is that wrong? Like, this is BlackRock is the top tier ESG funding company right now. They are literally the ones who, if you want ESG money, you're probably going to go to them first, and they will be most likely to invest in you so long as you hit whatever check boxes are required by them as a company. So yeah, calling him the king of the woke industrial complex, that's not too out of reach. That's not too ridiculous to say. That's actually pretty much on the nose, especially when he threw in the ESG movement part. It says Fink said at the time that debate references were a sad commentary on the state of American politics. BlackRock's offices have also been targeted for periodic protests by climate activists who say it has not done enough to promote decarbonization. Wait, time out.
What?
So, hold on. So anybody who's against BlackRock and ESG funding has to be a conservative, right? Has to be alt-right. And yet you just admitted in the same exact article that you have leftist lunatics protesting outside of BlackRock's offices because they're not doing enough, right? Like the ESG stuff and other woke
I told you, the most progressive is these people are not self-aware. They're not self-aware. They lack self-awareness. What?
shit that BlackRock is pushing is just
That's
not
crazy,
enough. It's
bro.
never going to be enough. You're still always going to have hardcore leftists outside of your offices protesting you, but you never really want to mention that. You literally just said everybody's a conservative who disagrees with you, and now you're talking about leftists protesting outside your building. It says in 2022, the asset manager set up personal security plans for Fink and BlackRock president Robert Capito following a report by Security Group. The company said that the security services were in the interest of the company and its shareholders due to the critical value the pair provides. BlackRock is not the only U.S. company to step up security during spending on its chief executive. Disney chief Bob Iger's 2023 compensation package, including $1.2 million in costs for security services and equipment. That's insane. That's absolutely insane. The entertainment group said in a filing earlier this year that was an increase from $830,000 the previous year. Iger returned to the chief executive role in November of 2022 at a time when Disney was being heavily criticized for being too woke. So again, they're trying to up security, and it must be amazing that these companies that are all for defunding the police are the first ones to say, oh, we're getting some criticism. Yeah, let's spend millions of dollars on security right now because we have that option. We have that luxury. These poor people who we're telling to defund the police yeah, they don't have that private security option, but that's okay. Let the purge begin and let them figure it out for themselves. But us, we're always going to be protected. We're always going to make sure we have enough money to defend ourselves, even though we're taking that money away.
We got one left,
people.
one video
then
left.
It says pharmaceutical groups, Pfizer and Moderna, which both have faced criticism from fringe groups over the COVID-19 vaccines, have also spent heavily on security for their CEOs last year. And that makes a lot of sense considering what you did to the world and considering that this was all just one big massive scheme to try to garner money. It seems like that's how it looks like anyway. I'm not surprised that you are protecting your CEOs, to be honest with you.
We got one more video left. It's 15 minutes left, and then we'll call it a night for tonight. I thought I was going to be able to knock these out, but, you know.
JP Morgan chief executive Jamie Dimon also received $150,000 for the cost of residential, personal travel, and related security during 2023, a nearly four-fold increase on the previous year. The lender said the latest figure included one-time expenditures related to system installations and upgrades. So all of these people, all these woke-ass CEOs are all getting massive amounts of money to utilize by the company to upgrade security systems in their homes and their private residences. They are getting an ungodly amount of money to do this, and yet everybody else has to fend for themselves, right? So these woke CEOs could do whatever the fuck they want, and they will receive no issue from it, and yet...
please note, these people have a lot of money in the housing market. They control what happens in the housing market as well. Hope you know that.
Everybody else has to deal with the fallout of their actions. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy it. And if you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.
All right, cool. All right, so that was Hypnotic with the whole Larry Fink thing. I find that extremely funny and messed up at the same time that this man is just... Anyway, so with that said, like, subscribe, share, follow, and comment. I hope you guys enjoyed this. This was Hypnotic. Please give him a follow and all that great stuff, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Cool. Alright, now we got one last video left. I thought I was going to have time to knock most of these. Wait, this one's 3 minutes.
For
Okay, this one's 3 minutes. We'll knock this one on in the next video after. This one, oh, actually, this one's 5, 3. What is this? 8.
Anime. I'm asking this because
this is more of a questioning type of thing. So I'll bring this. I'll save these for tomorrow. So I'll have to keep this open for tomorrow. All right, so we got 3 videos left. One's 5 minutes, one's 3 minutes, one's 15. So we'll knock this out real fast. All right, so this is from Ryan Keenel, RK Outpost, or I'll say RK. This is from RK. I have actually watched some of his stuff before. He talks about the same thing about BlackRock, blah blah blah, this on third, baby, Sweet Baby, and the gaming industry and Marvel and stuff. His videos are usually very simple, to the point, 5 minutes, and we'll knock this out. We'll react to it if possible within the 5 minutes. Then we'll do the 3 minute video, and then we'll do the anime one, and then call it night.
Fans knew from the very beginning, once they saw the first bit of promotional material for the Marvels, that it was going to be a total nightmare for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And really, ever since it was announced, it was originally supposed to be a Captain Marvel sequel, but nobody wanted more Captain Marvel. Nobody wanted Miss Marvel. Nobody wanted these characters, yet they decided to push it out anyway. And it was a complete horrendous flop. Rock bottom for the MCU. But it's so easy to get caught up in that failure and forget the massive failure that Marvel had earlier in the year. That, of course, was Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Ant-Man 3, which is supposed to kick off Phase 5, give us the big bad Jonathan Majors as Kang the Conqueror this time. And it fell on its face. What was supposed to generate excitement about the future of the MCU, it was just a big giant turd that really left people underwhelmed. After Ant-Man 3's second weekend box office collapse, should Marvel get concerned? Yeah, clearly they should have been concerned all along. This is a movie that made about $475 million worldwide that was the worst performing in the franchise. But it's actually worse than we initially expected, because we had been told, well, you know what, at least it's only a $200 million budget on this movie. That felt hard to believe, considering how much CGI work, VFX was probably needed for it, but that's what Disney said. That's what Disney claimed, a $200 million budget. Even so, it's still a movie that would have lost a significant amount of money for them. The break even probably somewhere around the $600 million range. Well, now we're finding out that it is much, much different. That, in fact, it's not $200 million, just like Disney's been fudging the numbers and trying to pretend like things are successes when in reality they spend way more money than they should have on something. This is exactly the case with Ant-Man Quantumania. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania was one of Marvel's most expensive movies ever. Reveals a new report. And just like we see so often, you end up with these numbers that they have to report because of tax benefits they can get in the UK by making it there. They have to very clearly report everything that they spent on it so they can get a big reimbursement. Well, now that Marvel's officially had to do all that paperwork, turns out they spent $330 million on this gigantic piece of shit. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania is set to blow its budget as costs surge to nearly $330 million. Now, again, this is Carolyn Reed from Forbes. She puts a lot of these type articles out there, getting those UK numbers, end up getting published on Forbes. The one thing that's always absent in these articles is the estimates for marketing, which for this movie, you're looking between $100 and $150 million in additional costs just in marketing. Yeah, so think about that. This is a movie now that they ballooned this budget 63.3% higher than what they put out there to the public. And even after you get the refund from the UK government, probably about $50,000, $60,000 back, that still cost them $275 million to do this. Think about that for a moment. That means when you add on, let's say $100 million, just to be, just to be okay, just to say, hey, $100 million, that's a conservative estimate for Disney marketing. It's probably more like 150. But you say that, you're looking at $375 to $400 million that they have sunk in this. And based on what they got back from the box office, because they only get to keep, rough estimate, about 50% of these numbers, You're talking about a movie that's $150 million at a minimum in the hole. We are talking about another multi-$100 million loss for Disney at the box office that they tried to basically sweep under the rug. The fact that you would report this, that you would let people run with the $200 million budget claim when because of post-production, because of all these things, it blows up to $330 million, that should damn near be criminal. I'm not even fucking around. To mislead people like that, to let people run with that and think that, well, maybe they had a chance of potentially sneaking out of profit. No, that's bullshit. This thing lost probably $150 to $200 million for Disney, for Marvel at the box office. And we only find out about it almost a year after because Disney really didn't want to admit that they spent this amount of money until they absolutely had to. A pathetic failure, but this just tells you these budgets are out of control. So even when you see things that people are excited about, like Deadpool and Wolverine, you have to ask the question, how much did this movie fucking cost them? Because if they're setting themselves up, if they spend $350 million on something like this, which is not out of the realm of possibility anymore.
No! Oh my god, that just happened. Hold on. I'm so sorry about that. That just happened. Restore. I hate when that happens. Put that in the corner. Put everything back. Put it back on the corner. I'm so sorry. That was not meant to happen. That was on accident. Blames Warhammer, Cartoon Network, flop. Yes, for now it's hot here. It's 35 degrees. Oh man. It's cold over here. Cold as hell. But it must be hot. It must be hot. And I'm not even gonna doubt what you're saying because it must be hot as hell. I've heard it's pretty hot there in Singapore. Isn't Singapore next to the Philippines, right? Or part of the Philippines? I could be wrong. Next to, oh, okay, Malaysia. Okay. Awesome. Do you like being in Singapore? Are you seeing the thing of coming to the West or no? Or no desire to? Okay, so that's the end of that with RK Outpost. Now we're going to do the Cartoon Network one. Like, subscribe, share, follow, and comment. If you guys enjoy this, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Cool. Okay, so it says Cartoon Network's partner studio is shutting down. Even the partner studio is shutting down now. And this was 4 days ago. I think to move, but now I need to save up. I gotcha. Any big dreams to move into Singapore? I mean, it's to move to the West. Like, is there anything that you want to experience that you don't get to experience in Singapore? Really? Damn, bro. Okay, I think to move on to IT is so expensive. I'm pretty sure it is. But moving probably is even bigger.
Ghost Viper 95. Hey man, I'm not gonna stay, but I'm gonna say why you aren't doing anything, talking about anything, and nothing is happening even in the background. But I'll say this, keep going, apply my advice, and hope you. Ghost Viper 95. Win.
Hey man, I'm not gonna say, but I'm gonna say, why aren't you doing anything, talking about anything, or nothing is happening even? Dude, we're reacting, we're letting the guy speak, and then we was doing that the entire time. Did you just walk in here? How long you been sitting there? For you to say that, that's... Oh wait, hold up. Ah, hold up. No, you're not wrong. Hold on. It did it again. That's what happened. Okay, I see where the issue came in. I see where the... Okay, when I accidentally clicked on the thing and cut it out, you guys can probably hear the video, but you can't see it because I accidentally cut it out at the time when I had some issues with it. So that's kind of sad. But anyway, thank you for at least saying something. I joined Discord, but I can't send anything until the 27th. How come? Why is that? If you go to places where tourists go and buy a water, it's like $2 plus, but it's local. I understand. So that's kind of sad what happened to Primal Studios. That's really sad because I recognize most of those bumpers. This is part of my childhood. I saw the Dexter's Lab one. That was a big bumper to me. Seeing that now,
Samurai.
Man.
The video sound.
Oh god, don't let me. The video sound went out too. No! Ugh, gotta redo it. I mean, you know what? I mean, I ain't put. You know what? I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not even gonna put the RK1 video in there. I'm gonna redo the video, but let me see. Yeah, I think it's because I accidentally clicked the thing. I should have never messed with it. That was what happened. I'll replay the video. It's only 3 minutes. I'll give my opinion on it. Hold on.
So it's the end of an era for a huge part of Cartoon Network? And no, I'm not ready to accept that.
It says security stuff. I don't know. Let me see. Yeah. Did you see? That must be an account thing.
If you grew up watching Cartoon Network, you know about Cartoon Fridays.
I don't see anything.
The Powerhouse era.
From me,
all those
so
fun shorts to celebrate the channel's milestones. Well, grab a chair. The design studio behind these and some of Cartoon Network's best on-air moments is officially shutting down. This is Primal Screen, and while you may not recognize the name, you love their work. Over the decades, their partnership with CN reached homie status. Nothing could break these legends apart.
Same name,
the Powerhouse era kicked off in 1998 and would mold Cartoon Network into what it would eventually become today. Turns out, a vast majority of the bumpers and branding were done by Primal Screen. They've done a ton of stuff outside CN, but it is some of their most notable work. Many years later, though, it's time to say goodbye. Every great story comes to an end. We started Primal Screen to do stunning work with people we love. In the past 30 years, we've collaborated with amazing clients who trusted us with their audience. Together, we never lost sight of the power of playful storytelling, and we've told a lot of stories. At the end of May, Primal Screen's story comes to a close. We cannot even begin to express how grateful we are for all the opportunities, friendships, and beautiful work we've been part of. Although we are no longer accepting new projects, the remarkably talented artists and producers who made us great will continue to create smart, fun, extraordinary work. You'll be so happy if you welcome one of them into your organization, guaranteed. We want to say a huge thank you to everyone who shared this adventure with us. Your support and creativity have been the heart of Primal Screen. I'm not crying, you're crying.
Monkeys!
Get out of here.
Either way, Primal Screen is one of animation's underappreciated heroes.
Monkeys.
Everyone
It's
loves
fine.
what
If
they've
you
done
want-
for Cartoon Network, but
if
they
you want,
usually
you
don't
can
get
look at
as much
my
thanks
TikTok.
as
Sure, I'll
Cartoon
do
Network
that instead.
themselves. These
I'll definitely
less
do that.
well-known
No problem.
studios operate in the shadows,
me
bringing
see. I can
everything
do
to
that
life
now.
behind the scenes without getting too much acknowledgement. The fact is, our childhoods wouldn't be the same without Primal Screen. In the final days of the studio, let's give them some appreciation. They deserve it.
Damn, that's my childhood right
Thanks for
there.
everything, and rest.
Bro, that is my childhood right there. Those are some old cartoon bumpers I used to see all the time. All the time, bro. Oh, man, that is so sad. Oh, man, I feel old. I feel even extra old. The fact I can recognize them. I remember seeing them as a kid and never seeing them ever again. That is so sad. TTIM. Let me see. AL2023. That's crazy.
In peace.
Raiga Samurai. Pensive face.
So
But anyway,
sad,
that's all
man.
for this video. Subscribe for more awesome cartoon videos. Give a thumbs up and comment below to let me know what you think. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.
Nice, nice. Okay, so I'm seeing your artwork so far, and they're not too bad. I think the issue that you're suffering from, based on what I'm seeing, it's the idea of the line art itself. Now, your line art's not bad, and your lines are not that shaky, but it doesn't show a lot of confidence. So what you need to do, since you're doing it traditionally, that's good. I rather people learn traditionally first than they would. I'd rather you learn traditionally first than you do digitally. But before I get into that, like, subscribe, share, comment. Thank you for watching. This is from Vasculibum. I don't know if I'm even saying that right, but I hope you guys enjoy this, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Laters. Alright, we're in the last video, but before I get to that, we're in the last video for tonight. But to answer your question here, as I see it, your artwork is looking pretty good. Let me see if I can flip this over here. Yeah. So yeah, I see your artwork here. Really good. Are you using pen or pencil? Pen or pencil? I think it's mainly pencil. A little lack of structure and perspective, but nothing that can't be ironed out. Really good stuff, though. Yeah, with enough practice of construction, I think what you need to learn is the fundamentals first. You need to learn shape, form, and gesture. Those are the three things you need to learn. If you can get those three things out of the way, then you'll improve pretty fast. Let me see. Pencil, good. All right, so since you're using pencil, you should learn your shapes. Now, always keep in mind when you're doing your shapes. Where's my remote? Oh, there it is. Hey, gotcha. When you're doing your shapes, you always have to keep in mind on one thing. Your shapes is your friend, and no matter if it's a square or in a circle, or well, just a square, keep a square, or just a circle. Always remember that everything's identifiable as a shape, right? So when you're drawing, like, say, like a head can either be a circle or a square, or more of a cube if you ask me. But 9 times out of 10, a head is mostly a square. The reason why is for this is because you want to keep in mind that the square is made for accuracy. Accuracy. I can't spell today, but my hand's kind of messed up. Accuracy, and the other one, the circle, is made for of fluidity. Fluidity. So it's not made for accuracy. If you can make it accurate with a circle, that's even better. But Right now, most people should practice with the fluidity first, not the accuracy. So when you're constructing a head like this, you have to make sure that it is at least believable enough to look like a head. So you can see the neck, shoulders, like so. So like you have the character, you know what I'm saying, like this. Like that, right? You have your character looking up, you can see on his chin. You have the character looking up like that, right? You want to have that fluidity that's happening. You want that gesture move. That's something you want to learn. And when you learn gesture, you're going to learn something called the line of action, the LOA, the line of action. It is going to be your friend of most cases, right? So when you're using a pencil, try not to, push in on the pencil, be as light as possible, and be as fluid. So to be as fluid as possible. So to be fluid, do not tighten your wrist or anything. Be extremely loose with it. Be loose by using your wrist. Don't use your wrist like this and make circles. You'll hurt yourself and injure your hand. Use your whole arm, okay? You probably have heard this before. For those who know how to draw in some form, you probably heard this from professionals. Always use your full arm when constructing your shapes, okay? Like so. So you construct the head. Shoulders. Like so. Oop. You know what I'm saying? Like we can make the arm, the shoulder, and then we can make the hand go off into the distance and stuff by foreshortening and all these other things. You'll learn these things as a student based on what you focus on. So I think the three things you need to focus on is the idea of shape. Oops. Shape, form, and gesture. Oop. Once you get these three down, you should then move on to something else. Focus on these three first. Now, when I say shape, I'm talking about the 2D idea of shape, like your squares, circles, triangles, or whatever type of shape. Now, if you feel like that's too low-key beginner, when I draw anime, I start off with the neck. Oh, that's interesting. I never seen someone start with that. I usually start off with the head, because the head will actually predict where everything else goes from that point. Now, the thing is with the 2D shape, when everyone says your shape is off, they're talking about the 2D dimension of it. When everyone says your form, for those who don't know, they're talking about the 3D dimensionality of it, the 3D-ness of it. So your cubes, your spheres, prisms, and then gesture is about the fluidity of your drawing, the fluidness, and that's it. This is why the line action will be your friend, because whenever I make a drawing, I make a head or a circle, and then I make a line through it, and then that's where I start using that line as a form of guidance to show how fluid my subject should be. Okay. this all hunched back because they're tired, or case may be, like so. There we go. Have the arm here. I'll post one of my most recent ones. It's in pen. Give me a sec. Okay. All right. So what we're gonna do while he does that, I'm gonna start the video because I'm gonna be late. So this is from Mori. I think we have done a video of Mori before. Top 5 must-read shonen manga. Let's go.
That comes to your mind is Shonen Jump. Shonen Jump is the one responsible for some of the best manga in the last few decades. But as manga keeps on growing, Shonen Jump is not the only giant.
Because when you're drawing realistically, you have to emphasize more on the physics, perspective, detail, color, variation, whatever case may be, and then do not stylize it, make it as realistic as possible. Anime is stylization. It is a parody of what realism is.
Publisher that dominates the manga sphere, especially going to 2024. There are a lot of great manga outside Shonen Jump, but if you are too lazy to look for them one by one, you only need these 5 manga to kickstart your manga journey in 2024, and all of them are in this video. So you don't have to ask yourself, what manga should I read next? But rather ask yourself, would you like to be a tanuki?
Oh,
would
we
you
did
like
this video.
To be a small...
Nope, we did this video. We did this video. I now notice we did this video. Can we stop calling these anime new gen? Okay, let me see. No, not this. Marvel Rivals. Is it worth it? Nope. Ooh. Okay, we'll do this video instead. I just realized that video was we did already. So we'll go to this one. This is not really a recommendation. This is more of questioning something about the popularity of, I guess, anime in some form. So it's not. I don't have any manga recommendations other than that one, obvious reasons. But this one's 8 minutes. It won't be as long. That one's 15, so we can knock this out of the park pretty fast, and we'll see how this goes. Sadly, it's no recommendations, more of like a analyzation type anime video. So if you want to check that out, go ahead. This is from Shonen Ouija. I think that's how it says, if I'm saying it right. I did his video before. His videos before, but not this one, so we'll see.
An anime? I'm asking this because Jujutsu Kaisen started all the way back in 2018, so that's 6 years ago, and JJK is basically the face of Jump right now besides One Piece. So personally, it feels weird to call a 6-year-old manga that's at the top of Jump a new gen series, but based on how it technically works, JJK would technically
Samurai.
be a new gen.
Cool with me.
Okay.
One Piece is still considered the current gen. Now, I did another video a while ago where I basically said that the whole new gen thing is just a way of gatekeeping. But back then I did explain how it kinda makes sense. So now I'd like to explain why I think it's stupid. So first, let's start with the current gen. There's a bunch of manga magazines, but let's stick with Jump. Okay, so if I gave you the latest issue of Jump and asked you to point to the current generation, you'd probably either just say they're all current gen, or you'd say that One Piece is the current generation. And here's where the One Piece thing makes sense. One Piece is the last of the older manga, so when we say One Piece is current gen, what we're saying is that generation of manga is still going on. So that's how that makes sense. So now
oh, I see what he's saying. So he's making this duality between, it's talking two ways of how you say it. So because One Piece exists for so long and still around up to this point, it's considered the current gen because it's the most longest running show right now on, or most popular show that is old amongst the greats from way back when. But there also, you can say it's not current gen because it's not currently made new and brand new. But I think he has a point. I think if the show is still going, still popular, and still up there, I honestly believe that it shouldn't be called the Big Three or anything like that. Till that show ends or loses popularity, then it can probably be deemed as such. But I can see why people will make the distinction. I see what he's trying to say.
These came out in the late 90s. The next oldest manga came out in 2014. So by definition, One Piece would be the current gen, and My Hero and everything after would be new gen. Rationally speaking, that makes sense. But realistically, here's what you're doing. Realistically, what you are doing is taking the magazine and saying, here's One Piece that's like 25 years old. That's the current generation. Literally every other manga in this magazine is new. Which is dumb, because why do you think it makes sense to call a manga that's almost 10 years old a new manga? And I get it, it's not new, it's just new gen. That's fine and everything. But you gotta admit, it sounds kinda dumb to be like, Deku is my favorite new gen protagonist from 9 years ago. Asta is my favorite new protagonist. Again, I get it. New and new gen are not the same thing. But it
I see
just
what he's
sounds
trying to
lazy
say.
to be calling manga that are bordering on 10 years old new manga. So I think we need to redefine what we consider new gen. And to do that, we need to reconsider what we consider the current gen. But before I get into that, make sure to like the video if you're enjoying it so far. It's the easiest way to support the channel, and it helps spread the video to other viewers like you.
Wow, they're really forcing us to look at this.
Contracts, exploding bills.
Metro thing. Okay, so let's take another look at Jump. We have One Piece as the oldest. The next oldest after that would be My Hero and Black Clover. After that, we have Jujutsu Kaisen. Now, Jujutsu Kaisen is an interesting one because while it is newer than My Hero, it's got well over 200 chapters and already has 2 anime seasons and a movie. So I think that's kind of bordering on new-ish and kind of current. By that logic, I would say anything that came out around the same time as My Hero and Black Clover would be the current gen. I don't know what a perfect cutoff would be for what makes something current gen versus new gen, but I would argue that once you're like JJK and you're over 200 chapters, it's safe to say you're not that new anymore. And just in my personal experience, here's why I'm pretty confident in calling My Hero the current gen. If you go into a bookstore or the comic book store, you will see little kids getting the classics like One Piece or Naruto. But you know what else they're getting into? My Hero Academia. You can see younger kids watching the new seasons and wearing Todoroki t-shirts. So if you have 10 to 14-year-olds talking about how My Hero is their favorite anime, then it kind of just goes to show that it's the current generation. As much as older anime elites like to think the world revolves around them, the reality is that these younger kids that are wearing Black Clover hoodies and playing as Deku in Fortnite are the current generation. So it only makes sense that we get with the times and start rethinking how we talk about these shows. If a show is 8+ years old and is mainstream enough to be on lunchboxes in Fortnite, I think we can stop calling it new gen. On the other hand, if a series is only about 100 chapters and still doesn't have an anime yet, that feels like a much better fit for new gen. And
Okay,
in
I
case
see.
you haven't guessed by now, one of the first examples I thought of is Akane Banashi. Akane Banashi started in February of 2022, so it is just barely over 2 years old. Now, a 2-year-old I have no problem calling new gen. It's old enough to not be brand new, but it's early enough that it's still pretty young. Like I said, it's barely over 100 chapters. It only has about 10 volumes, and as of recording, it still doesn't have an anime. Plus, for those of you who are cultured enough to be reading the manga, it's still early enough in the story that the final arc doesn't feel like it's coming anytime soon. So something like that I would have no problem calling new gen. Now, as far as where we make the cutoff, I think Undead Unluck is actually the perfect solution. Undead Unluck just hit chapter 200, and funny enough it already has an anime and it's in its final arc. Plus it debuted in 2020. That would mean it's 4 years old and just a little younger than Jujutsu Kaisen. Here I think something like Undead Unluck is the perfect cutoff. If you say it's the last of the current gen, that's fine too. But if we say, okay, Undead Unluck is where the new gen starts, then that does a lot of justice. So for example, that would mean Dawn to Dawn would be new gen. Started in 2021, less than 200 chapters, and we're not getting the anime until October. Sakamoto Days would be new gen. Witch Watch, one of my personal favorites, would also be new gen. Gachi Akuta would also be new gen. No matter how you look at it, I think if we're going to do this whole new gen thing, this is what makes the most sense. Anything around My Hero is current gen, Undead Unluck and anything after is new gen, and One Piece and anything that came out before like 2010 or 2005 we can stop calling current gen. But on that note, I would also like to put out there that I really don't like talking about anime this way, for a couple of reasons. First off, like I said in my other video, I think all this does is help people gatekeep. Like, people put shows into these boxes and then they just assume that the older stuff is better when there's a lot of new manga that make older manga look like doggy doo-doo. Now, for the other thing, I gotta give credit to my guy Nox. He actually inspired this whole video. Again, I've already talked about this before, but when he listed all these manga, I was like, yeah, this current gen thing needs to die. But the other reason I don't like doing this is because of replies like this. Nox put all these great new manga, and this dummy had the gall to ask, where are Asta, Deku, and Luffy? Like, shut up, bro. My guy's trying to talk about these cool manga that came out in the last 2 or 3 years, and you're still stuck on the same manga. It just goes to show that people who constantly use the new gen or current gen thing are either A, brainless, B, attention-seeking bots, or C, all of the above. In any event, if we're going to keep doing this, all I ask is that we make some adjustments. If your manga is older than 4 years old, there's a safe chance we can stop calling it new gen. On that note, read some more manga, look at different magazines, and please touch some grass.
Oh god, dude,
now I'd like
please
to hear
stop.
what you think. Would you make any changes? What do you consider new gen? Share your thoughts and see what everyone else has to say down in the comments. I'll pick my favorite and share it as comment of the week on my community tab. And if you'd like another discussion like this one, then check out my previous video on My Hero Academia. In that video, I discuss the current state of the My Hero series. You can find that video in the playlist linked right here. Until then, thank you for watching, and I hope to hear from you soon.
Alright, so that was Shonen Aoiji. I think I'm saying that right. So with that said, I'll see you guys in the next one. Like, subscribe, share, follow, comment, give a follow to him as well. And what do you think? Is what he said, current gen, new gen, these terms that he used and these lifespans, does they make sense? I think they make sense to a certain extent. I think he's right most cases on that, because like, you know, it kind of makes sense if you stop and think about it. So with that said, I'll see you guys, and I'll see you guys next one. I keep saying that. All right, later, bye. All right, guys. So we're pretty much done doing all the reactions. We have no more reactions for tonight. I thought I was gonna get like most of them out of the way.
Yeah, pretty much.
He had a good run on that. I have no issue what he was saying. The touch grass part I didn't like, but it is what it is. It does look like Jogo now. Okay, I posted myself a tattoo. Let me look at your tattoo thing real quick, and let me see what you posted. Okay. Okay, I see a dragon. Okay. Pretty good. Good. I will work more on the forms based on the lines. I will thicken some places and thin others. So like, for instance, you see how, let me see, like, okay, let me use an example. You see, damn it, stay still, damn you. Okay, yeah, I can see it. Okay. Pretty good. The only issue I will have is the idea of overlapping. So like, you see where right here you see like the stomach, or at least the part of the dragon here, is overlapping this hand. I will thicken at least that part where the hand is being overlapped. This is what happens when because you want something called depth that's happening when you're working on a drawing. So like, for instance, like if I'm working on drawing Gojo here, right? What I want to do is that I want to make sure that there are places that are being thickened and some places that needs to be thinned. So like in this particular area here, I would thicken this area. I will thicken here for good reason. It's not for accident. I would do that because, well, it shows a shadow 9 times out of 10 for the lock of hair that's overlapping the second piece of I know you gotta do that. I'm gonna do a different layer on the second piece of. Let me get this real quick. On the second piece of the lock of hair. Let's see. Like this, right? It gives it more life in that sense because it shows a sense of depth. And it's not about the shadow itself. It's all about the idea that there is an overlapping that is happening. All right. So like here from the ear and the jawline is overlapping that of the neck. So I would thicken this area here whenever there's overlapping. Now, if there is a situation where there's not really overlapping, but there's something called a fork in the road type a fork in the road type of let me get rid of this. Wait, what's this in the background? Yeah, get rid of that. There's a fork in the road type intersection. So like let me see, like here. Like there's an intersection right here where this is crossing here. I would make it thicken right here. Because there's an intersection that is happening. So like for your dragon here, you did a great job. You did a great job on it. Really cool. But I would thicken here because the mouth, the face is overlapping the head, but don't thicken too hard because a lot of people thicken way too big and they look really strange. Just thick enough that you can distinct that this line is thicker than that line. So I'll actually do the video on this tomorrow. So if you want to come in tomorrow, I'll show some examples of this even more than I am right now, because I have to finish this tomorrow anyway. So if you want to see this as an example, I'll be thickening and doing the line art in this. It may look like line art, but the line art is not done. It's far from done. We need to clean up some parts of the line art and make it a lot more presentable with a lot more line weight to give it more life. So if you want to come in tomorrow, you can. I'll be on tomorrow. I'll try to get on as early as possible. I'll be on most of the day. I don't think I'm gonna play AFK Journey tomorrow. I think I'm just gonna do a bunch of artwork tomorrow. Knock out a lot of videos out of the way. So, was that helpful for you, Mel? Or you're confused or anything like that? Is there any confusement on your behalf? Is there anything that is throwing you off based on my explanation? I think something in my throat. Also, do you like pen art? And I have school until 5. Okay, don't worry. I'll be on all day anyway, so it's not like I'm gonna be on a certain time. I'm gonna be on a certain time. I'll get on a certain time. But I'll be on most of the day, so you'll be able to catch me anyway. Yeah, I do like pen art as long as it's done right. This is why that's why I'm bringing up the whole line art thing, because if you're doing it in pen, the number one thing you gotta need to get perfect is the line art. Because if you're already making the decision to do a thing in pen, that means you permanently put everything in the place where it's supposed to be, which is great. So all you need to do is make sure that your line art is on point, and then you'll be fine. So yeah, I do like pen art. But anyway, if you have any more questions, Mel, I'm gonna get out of here. Have a good night. You too, Brian, anyone else has been in here? How was that? It's actually really good. Really good. Very, very good. I'm not gonna lie. Good night. Have a good night, Mel. I hope to see you again, bro. Alright, I'll see you, Bri, as well. I'm out of here, guys. Have a great night. Keep safe and keep practicing. Laters.